The beer's in the fridge when I got home, so they're in the.
What's up, everyone? Mike Storey looking fresh. Nice new t-shirt. Look at that. Storey finally repping. I tried to give him a hat, but he doesn't want to sacrifice his awesome 8th grade hair. Right. Had a lot of news. This is the NFC North preview. We were going to do AFC North story, but some stuff happened today we'll get into here in a second that kind of skewed us to going to the NFC North. We have Mouth in here. We also have Storey drinking scotch.
Well, look at the glass. NFC North. I had to bust out the Bears glass, right?
Oh, I couldn't really see it. Now I can see it. Beast made one hell of a pick today, speaking of the NFC North. I'm guessing he's talking about our guy, Jaden Reed, who we were trying to trade up for literally 7 picks, and no one wanted to make a deal, and, of course, didn't fall to us. So, goddamn it, Story. It would have been awesome. Yeah. It's even better for Jaden Reed now.
I know that I actually have hit Jaden Reed right up there with Xavier Worthy, and I was trying to talk you into taking Jaden Reed over Xavier Worthy, but I think we made the right call, all things considered, even with this Jacobs news, which there's a lot to unpack there.
There is, and the upside of Jaden Reed now is we've seen them use him in the backfield before sparingly, but like that may increase. Now they're going to make a move, but let's dive into Josh Jacobs and just him being a moron. I mean, these are all allegations, but let me ask you this first, Story. The fact that he was arrested and it's not just like hearsay or he's being investigated, like the fact he was arrested, 5 different charges. We can go through those in a little bit. Does that change it for you? Like, this is serious shit.
Yeah, I mean, in redraft, you have to move him down boards. I don't see there's any way that he plays or he doesn't get at least a 6-game suspension from this year, regardless of how I know the NFL likes to let the legal process play itself out. But when it comes to domestic abuse, and if you look at the 5 different charges, 3 of them have domestic violence or domestic abuse attached to them in some capacity. I don't think there's any way that he doesn't get at least a 6 or 8 game suspension in this one.
Oh, strangulation. Like, so you don't think there's any way this is going to be like a Quinshon Judkins situation, right? How he wasn't arrested, was he, last year?
I don't
that
believe
was just more
so.
like
that
allegations,
was
correct?
An allegation, and the NFL is all too willing to let the civil side of things play out, but when it comes to the legal stuff they protect the shield very heavily. So it had to be the Ray Rice situation, right? Because he was going to get a small suspension, and then everything was and then the video came out. So if there's any video of this whatsoever, you might not see Josh Jacobs this year at all. It's very possible.
Ever again? I mean,
this is
so Judkins was arrested. Just so you know, he was arrested, never suspended, and let's just tread lightly on this, but it just looks damning. Battery, domestic abuse, criminal damage to property, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, strangulation and suffocation, intimidation of a victim. Like, that's 5 things. Those are all felonies, most likely felonies in my mind. He's already an older running back. It's an issue. And Chris Brooks is the number 2 in the depth chart, and Marshawn Lloyd is there. But Marshawn Lloyd, we've never seen really step foot on an actual NFL field. He's been in the league for 3 years now. So I've been on record saying that I think they're bringing someone in even before the Josh Jacobs, allegations, arrests, whatever you want to call it. They were going to bring in a Najee Harris, a Trey Benson, James Conner, whoever is the leftover guy there in Arizona. You also have a guy like James Ford, who's probably going to get let go in Washington. Like, there's a lot of available running backs. Joe Mixon, if he ever can play football again.
Jerome Ford.
Jerome Ford. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options, but I thought they were going to do that before the Josh Jacobs news, right?
Yeah. I mean, the one guy that I consider that would come in and could mess things up for Chris Brooks would be Trey Benson. But even him, we talked about it tonight. I don't think he's all that. He's really not shown much. Realistically, he's an okay pass catcher, but as a running back, he hasn't shown much. And he also has issues staying healthy, dating back to Florida State. So I'm not so sure that anybody coming in, be it Najee Harris or Austin Eckler or whomever, like there's a lot of also rans that have been kind of kicked around a little bit that could, get some run. But Chris Brooks is an okay running back. Like I think it's his job to lose.
What's weird is I was looking into him before the show, and he's perceived and viewed as a scat back, right? But he's 6'1", 215, 220. So he's a bigger type dude, but he's only been asked to be a receiving down back in the league. I just can't see this Packers team with essentially Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, if you take the Micah Parsons injury away last year, they were right there. They should have beat the Bears in the playoff game, right? They had them dead to rights. They can't go into the season with Chris Brooks and Marshawn Lloyd. You just can't do that, especially with being hurt. Now you lost Romeo Doubs, you lost Wicks, so you have Tucker Kraft coming off injury. There's just a lot of question marks. And now Josh Jacobs was that staple of the offense, right? A very important part, a workhorse, not the most elusive, not the most speedy back anymore, not dynamic anymore, but he was great in the passing game, good pass pro, like all around just professional running back. Now you just replacing him with a replacement level player is what they're doing. So they have to bring someone else in the room. And, I was thinking about the LaFleur brothers, right? The Cardinals have an extra running back. They're brothers. Why not help each other out a little bit?
I didn't even think about that. It's possible you could get a little trade action going on, but I don't know what you could realistically get for Trey Benson at this point in his career.
6th-round pick.
It's been 2 disappointing seasons, and he dealt with injury for a good chunk of last year. Maybe Le'Veon Moss will unretire, and they'll sign an undrafted free agent, Le'Veon Moss.
Oh, just a shitty situation, and I've always loved Josh Jacobs, but the bottom line is, man, like
who else has a plethora of running backs that they can part with? I mean, Washington to a certain extent. You mentioned Jerome Ford. Maybe
Arizona, those two.
Arizona, yeah, but maybe if the Giants feel comfortable with where Scatterbo is at with his injury rehab, you get either Singletary or maybe they move one of those guys, Tyrone Tracy, like. All three of those guys are.
Man. Can we not have Devin Singletary there? Like single carry? Fuck that. You know what I was thinking about on the drive home after we had our drink story. I've been thinking a lot about this. Clearly, Breece Hall, right? They just signed him, and he still doesn't really want to be there. And they have Braylon Allen. They're in a weird spot of like the murky spot. They're not really win now, but they're better than a rebuilding team. But this would help their chances at a draft. They could get like a 2nd-round pick for Breece Hall. Everyone wins. Is that too crazy?
No, that doesn't seem unreasonable, but I don't think the Jets are looking to move Breece Hall now that they signed him to this long-term deal.
If you can get a 2nd-round pick for the guy and they take the contract, you do that in a heartbeat because you have Braylon Allen, who's 21 years old, man, who we love.
We do love Braylon Allen, even though they also really like Isaiah Davis there. So, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I just don't see a number 1 running back becoming available. It's going to be also like a guy that has kind of, he's the 3rd on the depth chart. Like Ray Davis would be a nice addition to that Packers backfield.
Oh, I would love that.
That'd be epic. That'd be something.
And there's not really many more. I mean, how about, what about this? What about Devin Achane?
I think they want to build around him there. I don't think they want to get rid of him.
Dude, the Dolphins are going to be good until like 2029. Like he's going to be a geezer at that point. Like that would be a 2nd-round pick again. Like why not? Why not? Because if I'm the Packers, you have a window here with Jordan Love, who's still relatively young. You have Parsons coming off the injury. Yes, I get that, but he's eventually in 2 years, he's going to be older. So you have this window now. Josh Jacobs, you had 1 year of Josh Jacobs. We all knew this is the last year for Jacobs. Now you might not get that. I mean, maybe we're getting ahead of our skis here because we don't know anything, but unfortunately, you hear this more times than not. This is a big suspension,
This where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke related to this one. I was digging into it a little bit. They've been investigating for a long time. They're building a case. They've built a case here. This is not a accusation, arrest, arraignment. We'll get them. We'll deal with it in the offseason. This is serious stuff. Now, again, we're speaking this. This is all alleged. I'm not taking a judgment one way or the other. This is all alleged. But looking at it from the realities of the NFL, I find it hard to believe that it's not at least a 6-game suspension, even though this is going to take a year plus for the legal system to play itself out.
And if we get pictures and it's worse than we think, which it already looks really bad, would it surprise you if they just released Josh Jacobs? At this stage of his career, coming off the injuries, you know what I'm saying? He could just be gone. They wipe their hands of the situation, and now we're going into, Chris Brooks territory, and they're going to bring someone like we mentioned, but that would not be surprising because he was on the downswing of his career. I mean, last year was really bad for Josh Jacobs. Eye test, numbers. Josh Jacobs did not have a 100-yard rushing game last season, Story. And then Emmanuel Wilson comes in for the I think it was one game he started, and he had a 100-yard rushing game. Emmanuel Wilson was a better running back last year than Josh Jacobs, at least when Josh Jacobs was hurt, right? The numbers all bear that out. The eye test bared it out.
It would be tough to get out from under his contract this year. He's got 26 and 27. Then he's an unrestricted free agent in 28. His dead cap is just over $14 million this year. I don't know how much room the Packers have. So that's not terrible. It's just that extra year is going to make things a little more. Sorry, his dead cap's only 6.2. Sorry, I was looking at his cap.
There you go. Hey, Caleb Johnson from Mouth. Caleb Johnson. That's a great name.
Ooh.
Would you give up a 5th rounder for Caleb Johnson, 3rd-round draft capital last year out of Iowa? Kind of in the doghouse. They brought in Rico Dowdle. He's the number 3 there. Right. What do you think?
As the Packers, you got to make some moves here. You got to go out there and be aggressive, right?
You have to be proactive too.
I'd be asking the Chargers about Kamani Vidal. I'd be asking the Broncos about R.G. Harvey, right? I'd be asking for all these guys and see what the price is. And we don't know they're not doing that, but this is whomever it is going to be valuable for fantasy football. Are they going to be Josh Jacobs valuable in his prime? No, I don't think so. That was, Josh Jacobs is a different animal. But they are going to be valuable probably in RB2.
Yeah, Blake says I'd be rock hard if we got Ray Davis in Green Bay. I would be rock hard for Ray Davis because we're both huge Ray Davis fans. Blake is a Packers fan and a Kentucky fan, so that's why he's speaking of his erection here, which makes a lot of sense because it would be, your dick would probably just explode. They would just explode. And, whether he's guilty or not, it's just not a good look for Josh Jacobs. And what I said to all these people is a couple of things I hate in life: mistreating animals, right? Pedos, and then people that hit women. Fucking can't stand it. Behave yourself.
One of these
Behave
days,
yourself.
Alice. One of these days.
Yeah, I know, Ralph. Right to the moon.
New clip.
Awesome. All right. Should we dive into the NFC North, dude? Let's dive into the NFC North. We'll get to we'll start getting to questions, guys, in between each team. We're going to go team by team. Projections. You know the drill, guys. We'll do depth charts. We'll talk about the team as a whole and then how this is going to impact fantasy. I'm using underdog fantasy for the ADP angle, and I think that's the most accurate since it's best ball and people are actually spending money on them. Dakota says, are you old enough for the honeymooners? No, I'm old enough for Family Guy, though, and I love that clip. That's the answer.
We didn't watch the honeymooners, but if you're my age, you're familiar with it. It was a cultural icon for when my parents were growing up. Your parents, too.
Yeah, I just know the clip, and just one of these days, I said that to my wife, that I would never touch her. I would never hit her. I do slap her ass pretty hard when we're banging, but girls like that kind of shit. Girls like to get choked. Trevor Bauer, you should watch out, though, next time. All right, NFC North preview. Story, give us the rundown here, just your general pulse of the division. And, the Packers, we got to factor this in. Also, with Micah Parsons coming off injury, Tucker Kraft. Are the Bears the team to beat? I think you might think the Lions are, though.
I mean, all in all, the NFC North had a pretty quiet offseason. Not a ton of free agent moves that we expected. Some really good draft picks. I think the division as a whole probably stayed about the same, if not a little better. I know the Packers got better on defense. We hope that Micah Parsons is healthy. The biggest signing, even though it's a $1.3 million hit to the Vikings, is the signing of Kyler Murray to potentially replace J.J. McCarthy as the starting quarterback there in Minnesota, right? So the other $37 million is being handled by the Cardinals this year.
Can you stop saying potentially? Can you stop saying potentially? What are you doing?
No,
It's not
until we get a name started. I will.
Come on.
I'm not going to come down on this. In any event, though, they didn't really. None of the teams had to be really active in the offseason, right? The Lions went all in on the offensive line. The Packers bolstered up the defense. The Bears didn't do a whole lot. They had an okay draft. They had some really good picks. They had some really head scratching picks. But in general, this is going to be a tough division all around. I don't think it's the Packers. I don't think it's the Vikings, and I don't think it's the Bears. I think it's the Lions. I think the additions that they made in the offseason are going to benefit them in the long term. Get back to Dan Campbell's grind it out, kneecap biting style. And yeah, there you go. That's my prediction. But realistically, I think this is as close of a division as we got last year. Every team had a positive point differential. That's the only division in the entire NFL that happened.
Yeah, Bears at 3-1 to win the division is super juicy. And again, biased. I'm not a homer like that. I'm a Lions guy though this year. I think that they're being undervalued. Last year, it was just a weird year for the Lions. I don't understand what happened because their offense was still humming. They just turned the ball over too much, and their defense was not opportunistic, right? So it was the turnover battle was a big negative for them, which we know is huge in the NFL. I just love the coaching staff there. I mean, Dan Campbell he has his guys ready to play. They buy in. I can't wait to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs later because this is nuclear stuff.
A lot of it was Frank Ragnow retiring very close to the start of the season last year. I think that threw things for a little bit of a loop. The defense, you would have liked to see another edge signed, kind of like the Bears. But in general, they only gave up 413 points. I know it sounds like a lot, but realistically, that's not terrible, all things considered. They just had some bad luck last year.
And they didn't take the ball away, right? It's one thing if you give up 413, you're putting your offense in good positions, but they weren't doing that. They weren't really getting after the quarterback outside of Aiden Hutchinson. So we'll see. I like the additions. Let's start off with the Bears. We're going to go alphabetical order here. Let's start with the Bears, our hometown team, Mr. Storey. 11-6 last year. Really easy schedule, but 11-6. Point differential was 441 points for, 415 against. So they won a lot of close games. This was similar to what the Chiefs were doing the year prior, right? All these late game heroics, games they were out of, that Colson Loveland touchdown against the Bengals, right? The Packers games, a lot of stuff like that, which we know is not sustainable. The question is, will they be forced to still win like that because the team should get better? Ben Johnson is a second-year coach now. He has experience. The playoff experience was huge. Even losing that Rams game, they were in position to win the game. The win against the Packers, this is really valuable stuff for a first-year head coach, a second-year quarterback that was pretty raw, and really young skill position players, right? Odunze is going into his third year, but he's 23 years old. Luther Burden's super raw. Colson Loveland's 22 years old. This entire team is super young. And I am on the Bears this year. I think that this is a step up, but the schedule is really tough. So which side do you lean? That it's going to be regression based on schedule and also just year two regression in terms of now they have film on Ben Johnson's offense, even though we know what it is from the Lions, but we didn't. It was different with the Bears a little bit. So what's your take on this?
I think they're going to be mostly the same. And with a tougher schedule, I think we're going to see just the Bears take a step back in this division. I still think that they have the potential to win double-digit games in this division, but it's going to be a tougher road to hoe for them. They had to make some moves to become cap compliant before, the league year really started in March, and they made some good draft picks with Thieneman. They added what's his name at safety, Kobe Bryant as well. So from a defensive side, you're happy. I would have liked to see them sign another edge player opposite Montez Sweat. They only had 35 sacks last year or something like that. So they couldn't generate pressure. On the offensive side, we hope that they take a step forward. I think the departure of DJ Moore is not being factored in as much as people think. Even though he only had 650 yards receiving last year, he made some really big plays, especially down the stretch. He was really called on. So we got to hope that Rome really develops into that true number one. Luther Burden takes the next step, and Colson Loveland is just the breakout star we all think. If that all kind of comes together, then I think they can push for the division. But that's a lot of ifs. A lot of things have to go right for this team. And a lot of things went right, luckily, last year. It's just going to be more difficult for it next year. The point differential it says it all, 441 to 415. If they give up 440 points and they only score 400, this is going to be a bad year for the Bears.
Derek, shout out to my team in the Dynasty League, Arrested Development. He's calling his team Arrested Development because he drafted Rashee Rice, and he had Josh Jacobs already drafted. He drafted him 2 or 3 days ago. And that's not good because, goddamn, Josh Jacobs, you were in a win-now mode with that pick. We all knew the Rashee Rice situation when he drafted him. That was a fine pick because we don't know about that. And we don't know about this either, but he would have gone, if we had this news now, where would Josh Jacobs have gone? Round 8, round 9 in Dynasty? It's a risky pick.
Yeah. It's a risky pick in every format. Like if in best ball, where would you take him? Round 10? Like you have to assume that he's not playing 6 games this year.
Right. There's the upside. No, there's an upside that he plays every game because of the Judkins situation. But there's also a downside. He doesn't play again. He doesn't play this year. So he was going round 3. I would say round 7 is in these big tournaments. You want to take swings, right? So it's probably worth a swing. Because you're not winning the tournament most likely if he doesn't play, but it's not tanking your season. You can still advance a couple rounds. One thought on your DJ Moore point is it made a good point. Like he was, I don't know, he's like overrated in terms of fantasy last year because he wasn't getting the volume. He was running a lot of routes, and they were using him as a very important sacrificial player because he carries a lot of weight. People respect DJ Moore in the NFL, and he's a good player, right? Big play merchant, also really good with the ball in his hand. So if you're going to replace DJ Moore, I know like what you're replacing in terms of fantasy value and stats is not going to be a 1-to-1. But if you're replacing him with, is it Xavier Thomas, the rookie?
Or is it Khalif Raymond?
He's not going to. Khalif Raymond's more of a gadget guy and a slot guy. But either whoever it is, you're going to be replacing him, and they're not going to require the same like attention from the defense, right?
Yeah, I get that. But so what does that mean for Roma Dunze? Can he ascend to be a true number 1? Can Luther Burden take that next step? We saw, I loved his yards per route run last year, but they didn't really feel comfortable using him in a full-time role. Colston Loveland definitely came on towards the end of the season, but they were throwing the ball all over the place in the second half of the season. So I'm just a little worried that, you mentioned another year, Caleb Williams, he didn't take the step forward last year like people were hoping. It was fine, but his inaccuracy is still a problem. His patience in the pocket is a bit of a problem too. And so you get a full year of a Ben Johnson offense in a team that the Lions won the division 3 years in a row prior to that. The Packers have been in the playoffs for the last 10 years in a row prior. Like there's a lot of concerns, I think.
Miles, good work, Derek. Karma has allowed the league to equalize. Because Derek had all the draft capital in the world. So like that, now he's on an even playing field because of legal stuff, possibly. Also, I gave the perfect Bears analysis in the chat. Also, this should take care of most of our draft. If we do hit the goal, guys, we'll do a draft at the end of the show. $5 more, guys, or sub to the Patreon. Yeah, if you sub to the Patreon, we do a draft, and also I chug a beer just for you. But yeah, if you want to get in there, get in the Discord, you can check out the deeper analysis we do outside of the show, right? We still answer questions, have all these conversations in the Discord. It's essentially an extension of the show. Appreciate you, Mal. Thank you. Also, guys, Downtown Sports, if you're not watching it, if you're not sub to it, so what are you doing? You should probably do that. It's only 1 or 2 shows a week, every Tuesday, and sometimes they do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Downtown Sports, 23 platforms. They're having the voice of the Clippers on this week. They had Noah Eagle on a couple weeks ago. I was in that show. Storey, you've been on the show. Every platform you find podcasts, or just go to YouTube, search Downtown Sports, where sports come home. Storey, Caleb Williams had 29 passes dropped last year, 3rd most in the league. You add that with his super erratic throws at times, right? He makes the greatest throws in the world, and there's a guy in the flat, and he throws it, Anthony Richardson's it essentially, like 4 yards over his head. I'm comfortable saying he's going to clean most of that stuff up. But the drop passes is a thing, so he had the lowest completion rate in the league last year, and we're not hiding from that. But he also won a lot of games, and I hate throwing the term clutch around, Storey. I know you hate that term, but Caleb Williams has proved he's clutch in college and in the pros. He has. He's got the it factor.
Okay. I see the argument. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. And you go back and watch some of these games where Caleb Williams is the reason that they needed to become a clutch team, and they needed to win dirty, right? When he throws for 75 yards in the first half, and the game looks like it's out of hand, and then the other team takes their foot off the gas, and look at that Colston Loveland play where that game was done, and they got lucky that two defenders basically ran into each other to allow Loveland to run to the end zone to win that game for him. You know what I mean? A lot of lucky things happened for the Bears last year. I am a little cautious crowning the Bears to be the
okay, hold on. We all know Josh Allen. Josh Allen and Mahomes are the two most clutch quarterbacks, right? We want Josh Allen because he can extend plays like none other. Caleb has that in his game, right? So he's top 5 in terms of it's a 4th and 8. Can you name me 5 quarterbacks you want when the play's breaking down, when the defense is blitzing, regardless, 4th and 8? Give me 5 quarterbacks you want over Caleb Williams when the game's on the line.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
come on.
Oh, yeah.
No.
100%, dude. Baker's been.
If you want an interception.
No, Baker's been in tons of big games. 100%. I take Baker.
How many playoff wins does Baker have?
Patrick Mahomes.
And that's the list. But Baker, you're not counting Baker. Get the guys. Tell him in the chat. You're not. I love Baker Mayfield.
I'd rather have Baker Mayfield than Caleb Williams. 100%.
The guy that leads the league in interceptions since 2018. You want that guy?
I do want that guy.
What was you do?
Give me the completion percentage last year for the two quarterbacks.
Caleb had a better year than Baker last year, even before the injury. Get the hell out of here, you fucking psycho. Dakota says Jacobs vehemently denies charges. He says facts will come to light. I do like seeing that, but also it's one of those things where isn't that what everybody says? Like OJ said he was innocent. Everyone says they're innocent. Like no one's like, actually, dude, I beat the shit out of her and the facts will come to light. You'll see the pictures, guys. I whooped her fucking ass. No one's going to say that. So do you take this as anything like that he says this?
I mean, it helps. I hope the thing is, like, if the charges are false, then you got somebody that's trying to sully his good name. If the charges are real, or even even if they're gussied up, it's still not a good look. It does help a little bit that he's denying the charges and he's not coming out and just, or that he is coming out and saying something and not, but still, like, man, it's going to be a long time for this to unfold. And this is like, the NFL is already under a ton of pressure from on the domestic violence front. I just can't imagine them turning the other cheek on this, even being like, yeah, we'll let the process play out.
The upside is it's May, and the real money redrafts aren't. We're gonna have a lot more answers probably in a week. We'll definitely have answers in a couple months.
Can you imagine
Derek says Ben Johnson terms.
Sorry, can you imagine if this happened on August 26th? People would be flipping out.
Yeah, I know. Well, good timing. Well, the thing is, you said they were building a case for a while, so that's not a good wrinkle that you just let us know there. Derek, in Ben Johnson terms, Burden equals St. Brown, Rome equals Jameson. That is accurate, right? Burden's going to play more of the slot. They're not Arthur Burden's like 6'2", but he is really good with the ball in his hands. He's great
really with the ball in his hands. Yards per run, like I mentioned, that's a very sticky stat, or a very predictive stat, and he was excellent as a rookie wide receiver last year. Loved him at Mizzou. The problem is he didn't play a lot either to start the year or even to kind of on the way out. So I would assume that he steps up into 2 wide receiver sets, but maybe they run a bunch of gadgety packages and Luther Burden isn't on the field as much. I just have I don't know, like, as good as he was as a rookie, we got to remember the first 10, 11 games. It was a rough go for Luther Burden. Now, DJ Moore was there, but again, we talked about it, like his target share, his yards, his receptions weren't what you would expect from a true number one.
Hell yeah, GT. Shout out GT. Been a while since I've seen you, brother. We love you. We love GT around here. He's our dude. Let's get a couple more comments in before I move to the wide receivers. Let's see. Extractions traded Brees for Scatabo. I don't know what I was thinking, but hopefully it pays off. I just hate the Jets. Yeah, Brees Hall is a 3-down back, and Scatabo's a 4th-round NFL draft pick, and we like Scatabo's awesome. We want to root for Scatabo, but
I think the Giants like him. I mean, it's a new regime under Harbaugh, but I do think the Giants like him. They did not make any moves in the offseason to improve that running back room. And he was a bell cow.
Miles says he knows RJ Harvey is going to Green Bay. Do you think they would get rid of RJ Harvey, like just give him away?
No, because everybody in the Sean Payton offense has a role, and it feels like RJ Harvey is going to have a pretty defined role now that J.K. Dobbins is back, now that Jonah Coleman is there. That's why I'm down on RJ Harvey as a fantasy asset. I think for a running back room, I think they're going to be a pretty productive unit, but that's a Sean Payton offense, and nobody really benefits unless your name is Alvin Kamara.
One last Caleb Williams thought, just for reference, Baker has 16 game-winning drives. Caleb had 7. Baker has never had more than 4 in a season. Caleb had 6 last season, not counting playoffs. 1 in the playoffs for 7. Wow. That's 7 in 1 year, Storey. So, but you're going to say he sucked before that. That's why he had it. Baker's had plenty of stinkering first halves. Bad first halves.
He was sullied with a pretty terrible Browns team for many, many years before he came to Tampa Bay.
Caleb, quarterback 7. What do you think about that? Is that fair?
Seems about right.
Ability?
Yeah, as much as the passing game, and so a lot of what I'm talking about is just from a real life perspective. But as much as the passing game leaves a lot to be desired with Caleb, yet he could certainly make some strides. The rushing is there, the scrambling, the RPOs, the designed runs. A lot of that is still there. So from a upside on a fantasy, sure, give me Caleb at 7 all day long.
All right, let's move on to running backs here. The Bears running back. So I have a running back stat for you. DeAndre Swift beat Kyle Monangai last year in yards per carry, rush yards over expected per attempt, yards after contact per carry, missed tackles forced per carry, and Pro Football Focus rushing grade. So essentially 5 big guys there, big stats, big metrics. He beat them, and Swift is going RB23. Monangai is going RB33. This is underdog ADP. Do you like both these guys? Do you like neither of these guys? And who do you prefer at that ADP? 23 and 33.
Yeah, if you dig in a little bit further, I do prefer DeAndre Swift because of the pass catching upside. When you have a mid to late round running back like Monangai, especially as a 6th round pick, and where's he being drafted in best ball? Like 8th round, 9th round?
For who?
Monangai.
Yeah, pick like 98, so 8th round, and Swift is like a 6th round,
late mid-round guy. His, a pretty predictive stat for running back success in year 2 and year 3 is yards per route run, because we want pass catching upside for our running backs, and Monangai doesn't really seem to have that. So I'm actually back on the Swift train here.
Yeah, 23 is nice. It's just, I don't know. It's when one end of it, it's like it's definitely a committee, but most running back rooms are. But the plus side is you're tied to what should be a top 10, top 12 offense, right? Like they're not going to take a massive step down. If anything, it's the defense and the team as a whole in terms of the record is going to go down. But this should be a more productive offense because the early part of the year it was rough, and then early part of games was rough. Ben Johnson's going to clean that up. He's going to clean that up. So I'm in.
Most running back rooms are a committee, and the nice thing is this is a 2-man committee. We can write off Roschon Johnson. He's not a factor in this running back room going forward.
100%. All right, let's move on to wide receivers. So we have Luther Burden going wide receiver 24, Rome Odunze going wide receiver 27. This is the Luther Burden stat. Luther Burden's 2.69 yards per route was the highest by a rookie wide receiver with 50 targets since Odell Beckham in 2014. We all know what his career turned out to be, and the late stage, let's throw out the late stage stuff that was injuries and him being a moron. Like Odell Beckham was an elite NFL receiver that had some pretty bad situations as well. So rookie wide receivers with 50 plus targets and 2.6 plus yards per route run the last 20 seasons. Odell Beckham, Luther Burden, number 2, AJ Brown, and Justin Jefferson. So I am not, it's such a small sample size for me. And a couple of the plays as a guy that watched every single Bears game and every snap of Luther Burden's young career. He benefited on a gadget. He had a flea flicker 65-yard touchdown, which didn't do anything to earn that. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but just some stuff. It was, 3 really long touchdown runs that weren't really because of him. Like, I'm going to kind of punish Luther Burden. Now, the film is still really good. The film is still really good that I watched, but I think that the 2.69 is very misleading, and I don't think he's that level of player like Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham, AJ Brown. No way. Sorry.
I don't disagree. Although, like, the price difference is getting a little stark. Tell me they haven't, like, started to like Burden is kind of going like this, while Rome kind of goes like this in ADPs, right? Like Burden is his ADP is rising, is it not?
It's kind of stayed pretty steady, but I think at the end of the year, it might be a 5 or 6 wide receiver gap, right? We might see Burden at 22 and Rome at 28, something like that. Who do you prefer at cost? It's pretty similar cost, but it's 1 round difference.
Yeah, I'll take Rome Odunze at cost all day long. I mean, he had a really good rookie season, and as a second-year player, outside of the injuries, he was a force on that team. Again, Luther Burden couldn't crack that 2 wide receiver lineup with DJ Moore there, who was, he's a veteran, but he was pretty unproductive, relatively speaking, last year. So Luther Burden, he's got the chance to ascend into the stratosphere, but it's going to take a few things going right for him. As a wide receiver 2, is he there? I don't know. But if I can get Rome Odunze, who's already shown it as a wide receiver 3 price tag, I'll take it.
I have a Rome Odunze stat for you, but you can't do a victory lap because it's kind of a Caleb Williams stat too. So just 59% of Rome Odunze's targets were catchable last year. That ranks 72nd among 76 qualifying wide receivers. So maybe Rome Odunze was running some of the wrong routes, but
maybe.
No, he wasn't. Caleb was erratic.
What was Ibuka's catchable target rate in the second half of the season?
Pretty similar.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
There you go. That's a Baker Mayfield stat for you.
Yeah, I'm not going to victory lap. I want to see this team come together. It's another year. They should take a step forward. I'm not trying to get over my skis on the Chicago Bears like everybody in the world is, because there's so many things went right last year, and so many things have to go right for this team to win 14 games this year. I just don't see it happening.
Colson Loveland, tight end 3, Mr. Storey. And Colson Loveland, among 38 tight ends with 40-plus targets last year, he ranked 6th in targets per route, 5th in yards per route, and 3rd in Pro Football Focus receiving grade. And the eye test was great. And this is, he started off slow. He had that injury in minicamp. And then once, Rome Odunze went down, Colson Loveland went nuclear. Now, it's not a 1-to-1 comparison that DJ Moore's gone, but now it is more of a, consolidated receiving room, which is when Colson Loveland really became the one. And it wasn't even just like the targets. You watch those games, Story, like on every 3rd and 7 and in the red zone, who is Caleb looking for? It's Colson Loveland. Who does he trust? He's huge. He's fast. He's savvy. We were not Colson Loveland guys. We got to take the L on that. We hated the pick. We hated the player. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer like some Bears fans are saying, but he was the right pick. He is the right player. This dude is super young. We love Colson Loveland now, so we can admit when we're wrong. We're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Oscar Delp can find the same kind of magic, right? Where a fairly unproductive last year in college, drafted highly. Now, Delp was not drafted nearly as highly as Colson Loveland. What was it, 12 overall, 14 overall, something like that?
10 or 12.
Yeah, 10, maybe 10 overall. I'll take the L on it. Like, the guy looks like an absolute superstar. I think part of the reason is because the tight end landscape in fantasy football is a bit of a wasteland right now, right? Like, previously you'd have 4, 5, 6 guys that you could rely on. We're kind of taking the second half of the season with Colson Loveland and projecting it over a full season for him to be at tight end 3. I like Tyler Warren at cost over Colson Loveland personally.
Right. So it's kind of a 2-part question for you, Story. And let's not forget the playoffs he dominated too, which I know doesn't cover fantasy stats, but that is kind of a feather in his cap. It was like not just the stats in the playoffs. He was the go-to guy, and the film looked great. So tight end 3 is what it is. Let's take costs out of it. Should he be the tight end 3? Should he be ahead of Tyler Warren? Should he be ahead of Laporta? Should he be ahead of all the other guys? Harold Fannin, Tucker Kraft, right?
Probably, yes. Probably the eye test, the numbers say that he should be the tight end 3. But like for cost-wise, when I'm looking at building a roster, I'm going to take the slightly cheaper guy and go with Tyler Warren or Tucker Kraft or even Harold Fannin, right? And save myself and get because where's Loveland being drafted? 3rd round, 4th round?
Yeah, it's like 4th round, 4th to 5th round ish. And then Tyler Warren is tight end 4, but he's more like a round and a half later. And then Kraft is a round after that. So like, I just don't ever draft tight end 3 in the recent landscape. Like, you have your 2 big guys typically every year, 1 or 2 just usually get overdrafted, but those like mid to early 2nd round picks. And then it's the tight end 3. It's usually a pretty big dip, right? In this case, it's 2.5 rounds. But I don't know. I feel like there's just value later. I see the upside, but I don't see the volume, right? Like I feel like what is his cap going to be? 75 catches? Does that seem about reasonable?
I mean, they're only like they didn't draft Sam Roush to not play a ton of 12 personnel, right? So with Cole Kmet still there, with Sam Roush, who's a really great blocker, neither one of those guys should take targets away. So if they play a ton of two, actually that also kind of is good for both Rome Odunze and Luther Burden, right? Because when you've got two tight ends in the field, you've got to consolidate a target share because one of those is almost certainly a blocking tight end. So, yeah, I mean, 75, 80 receptions is probably the
like
cap.
10 touchdown potential for sure.
That's
10 touchdown potential,
right? Like because they love him in the red zone, and they love him in the red zone. Watch Sam Rouse catch the very first touchdown of the Bears season, and everybody lose their mind.
Right. Well, the nice upside though with Loveland, like you said, the 12 personnel stuff and losing DJ Moore is if they just try to move him to the slot, which it didn't work with Kyle Pitts, but I think it could work in Ben Johnson's offense with this superhuman apparently that's 6'6". That would be nice, right? If he just plays essentially the kind of remember how Tyler Eifert was utilized there in Cincinnati. That was more in the red zone, but like that's just such a mismatch, and Kyle Pitts just isn't a savvy enough player to make that a mismatch. Loveland is. Let's move on to the Lions, though. Actually, no, let's get to a couple comments.
Get to the comments. I gotta go refill. I'll be right back.
Take a piss. Yeah. All right. Let's see where we're at. If RJ Harvey goes to Green Bay, I'll retire from fantasy from Dakota. That would, he'd be really good in Green Bay, but he's not a great player. Let's see. I see why a listener of the show went all in on their fantasy draft. Bears. Well, we're not giving Bears. I mean, Storey hates the Bears. Honestly, like we're both Bears fans. He's actually against them, or I am. I'm lukewarm on the Bears. With what we saw last year, I can't hate on them. Chaz and Ray they're not listeners. They're guests on the show. They're co-hosts. They love the Bears. So they're kind of drafting with their heart. Goff year one was bad. That is true. Caleb was average with flashes of Allen. He's a young player, man. Very, very raw. And, I'm not even the biggest Caleb guy, but what I saw last year was I see the path to being elite. The path. He's not there yet. So people tell you he's there. I saw that, who is it? Colin Cowherd had fucking Caleb Williams as his fourth best quarterback in the NFL. Like, that's crazy. I don't even put him in the top 10. He's right there. And if he does this again, right? It was the same thing with Jaden Daniels 2 years ago. Not there yet. And he went to the NFC Championship game. Caleb was close. But one more year of this, and then we'll have something for sure. All right, while Storey's on, I'm going to hit you guys with the intro, and then we will get to the Detroit Lions as the next team. So see you guys in 25 seconds, 28 seconds. I could whistle that song every single day. Hatcher, it's because there's two streams going. I have a vertical and I have a horizontal. You're in the horizontal, unfortunately. It's a better viewing experience. I like to have two up there to get more traffic in here. So most people are in the vertical. So you guys can switch as you will. But yeah, most people are in the vertical, just so you know. What's going on, PZ? Let's move on to the Detroit Lions, who were 9-8 last year, 481 points scored, 413 points against. It was the opposite of the Vikings. It's like, we'll get to the Vikings in a little bit, but the Vikings is like, how did the Vikings win 9 games last year? How did they just overcome that shitty quarterback play and the bad defense early in the year? How did the Lions only win 9 games last year? I didn't see it. They really faltered at the end of the season, but really, really disappointing season for the Lions. I like what they did this season. I think that they're being undervalued in this division. So that is my pick to win the division. It's the schedule. Thank you, Hetzer. The schedule is also really, really nice. The schedule is great for the Lions this year. That last game they lost, blessing in disguise. I know Dan Campbell doesn't play football like that or manage his team like that, but it's a fourth place schedule, and that is nice. They played the division really tough. Jared Goff is still in his prime, literally 33 touchdowns every single year. But let's move to the fantasy angle here. I want to get Storey's take. He's taking a long ass time to make his mixed drink.
Yep.
He's got to put a fucking umbrella in it. We're talking about the Lions, 9-8, 481 to 413 point differential. Crazy that they went 9-8. I feel like they were better than that last year. So give me your pulse on the Lions. You like them. This is your pick to win the division.
Yeah, it is my pick. Last year, a lot of it came down to some bad luck. Frank Ragnow, I mentioned, he retired early. He tried to come back in November, but he didn't pass the physical. So that there was a lot of things that didn't kind of add up for the Lions last year. But they realized that the offensive line was a big issue for them. And that's why I'm really excited about Jahmyr Gibbs, right? They signed Cade Mays, right? And they drafted Blake Miller out of Clemson. I think these two guys are going to make a huge difference on that offensive line. I mean, you can move now Ratledge and Mahogany around, right? They had some mixed results in their first couple of seasons, but this opens things up a lot for the passing game, for the running game. They felt comfortable letting David Montgomery go in free agency. That means should spell big things for Jahmyr Gibbs. I think everything's going to work itself out. I think Dan Campbell is a smart coach. I think he's going to get this team back on track. And they did allow like 24 points per game last year on defense. So they've got to improve. But Aiden Hutchinson is a bit of a monster. He's a bit of a beast. I'm excited for this team. I think,
Are you worried about Drew Petzing? Because Mouse says Drew Petzing is going to make Sam Laporta pop. We love Sam Laporta, but are you worried about Drew Petzing, or are you confident that Dan Campbell, he's going to do what he did last year? If it's not going well, you're going up in the booth, dude, and I'm calling fucking plays.
So do we know yet who's calling plays? Like, is Campbell going to start?
Yeah, good call. I hope he is. I hope Campbell just calls the plays, right?
That's what I'm
for
saying.
Everyone involved.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, also, there's question marks about whether, like, how much Penei Sewell is going to play this year, right? Like, all pro, but he played. He plays on the right side, but that's basically all that Miller played at Clemson was on the right side. So do you move Penei Sewell over to the left side? There's some question marks that they got to kind of open up on the offensive or answer on the offensive line. I'm not too worried about it. I think Dan Campbell, if things are not going to go well, he's going to take over play calling. I think things went better from an offensive perspective when he took over play calling last year.
Yes, definitely. So Jared Goff, quarterback 15, Mike Storey. I got a Jared Goff stat for you. Jared Goff scored 3.4 more fantasy points per game than expected in 2024 and 3.2 more than expected last year. So that's a reflection of this offense and how efficient it is, right? And just sometimes the free little tutties he gets with just nice design plays, little shovel passes, wheel routes with Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, and him also taking shit to the house. That's a 6-yard reception, goes for 65. So Jared Goff is just every year undervalued in fantasy because he offers nothing with his legs. Nothing with his legs. He's a net negative there. But we know this is a good offense. We know there's playmakers all over the field. Why is Jared Goff going quarterback 15?
You think that's too high? Or you think it's too low?
Quarterback 12.
You think it's too low?
He should be. No, it's too high. I mean, I guess it depends what you say. He should be going quarterback 12 is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm at. Yeah. He should be going higher is what I'm getting at. Is what I'm trying to say. Yes. He should be going top 12, right? Like 11 to 12 is
I think so.
Right. This is still a loaded offense with Gibbs, an excellent pass catching running back. They do love running I guess part of the reason is they love running the ball in the red zone, especially the 10 zone. So that might be part of it. But now you don't have David Montgomery. So does that mean more opportunities for, one of the best red zone wide receivers in the entire league is Amon-Ra St. Brown. So assuming he's healthy, and that guy's an absolute, he's got I hate using this term, but that guy's got that dog in him. He had a high ankle sprain last year that took him out of one game, and it should have been a 3-game injury. He came back the next week. Unreal. And Jameson Williams at deep threat. I think Goff is. He has
so much dog in him that Michael Vick wants to murder him.
Yeah,
Michael Vick joke.
Not a fan of that. Yeah.
The joke or Michael Vick?
Well, Michael Vick's extracurricular activities when he was on the
Exactly. Don't kill the messenger here. The joke was sitting out there on the table. I'm going to fucking hit it, man. I'm going to hit it. So, Jahmyr Gibbs. We'll get to the wide receivers in a second, Story. We mentioned Dan Campbell taking over plays. The spike in production for Jahmyr Gibbs. Look at these splits, man. So, it's first 8 games, last 9 games. Carries per game only went up by 0.3, but again, David Montgomery was there. Targets per game almost doubled. PPR points per game, 18.2 to 24.8. And expected PPR points per game went up from 15 to almost 20. And that was also with keep in mind here, that was with those 2 stinkers that Jahmyr Gibbs had to end the year. Remember that like 18 carry, 31 yard effort he had? The Steelers game was really rough too, where he was saving it with PPR value, but he had 3 touchdown games, 3 separate 3 touchdown games right after Dan Campbell. I think it was 3 touchdowns, then a touchdown, then 3 touchdowns, then a touchdown, then 3 touchdowns. So it was like 12 touchdowns in a 5-week stretch. With David Montgomery. It seems a
little high. I get where you're getting at, but that seems a little high.
Well, no, I know he had a stretch of 3 touchdowns, and then I think it was 1, but whatever. It was 3 touchdowns, and every other game he was scoring 3 touchdowns for it would be a 6-game stretch.
For what?
He had 3 separate 3 touchdown games.
He did? Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Right after Dan Campbell, trust me, I had Gibbs everywhere in fantasy last year, and he let me down in the playoffs. But he did when he took over, Jahmyr Gibbs was dominating, man, dominating. So that's really nice. That's very encouraging. And Gibbs is going RB2. So I'm going to ask you this: you've been on record saying you want Bijan over Gibbs at RB1.
True.
I know you said that for our dynasty team, and I said I want Gibbs. It's not even close. Are you in full PPR? Which one are you taking?
So
you still on Bijan?
Small point of order. It was 2 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. So 1 3 touchdown.
Well,
yeah.
It was close. It was close though.
But those are league winning weeks, right? Like 2 touchdowns.
It was not close, but yeah.
Okay.
Is it Bijan or Gibbs? I'm trying to move on because you gotta stat check me, you prick.
Point of order. It's still Bijan for me. Tyler Algier is gone. Like Bijan's the best pass catching running back in the league, as far as he's the best well-rounded running back in the league.
Oh, I know. I agree.
Yeah. So
we did this before. The upside of the Atlanta offense is like top 15. The upside of Detroit's offense is number 1. The floor of Detroit's offense is like the 5th best offense or the 7th best offense. What's the floor of Atlanta's offense? 23?
Yeah.
24?
There's no Isaiah Pacheco on the Atlanta Falcons to take touchdowns away.
But Isaiah Pacheco blows, bro. What? So you're trying to say that you're more worried about Isaiah Pacheco than you are about Brian Robinson Jr.?
I'm not worried about
the downgrade from Algier. The downgrade from Algier to Robinson, I feel like is closer than like Montgomery and Pacheco is a bigger gap. Like Montgomery, they love Montgomery. Do they love Montgomery there though? They love him.
Come on, dude. Brian Robinson Jr.
You think they're giving Pacheco goal line carries? You think they're giving Pacheco like 40% of the goal line looks? There's no way. That's what they're giving Montgomery.
I think Dan Campbell is very comfortable with a committee, and
but when you're crazy, no way. You're worried about Pacheco? I can't believe this. Now I still think Pacheco post shin injury has been awful. There's a chance he comes back to form, but he's also David Montgomery is 230 pounds. Isaiah Pacheco runs really hard, but he's not a power back. It's like not a power back at all. I'm not worried about that.
I just don't see that they're going to give Gibbs a 90% opportunity share, which is what you would need in order to overtake.
No. 75. All he needs 75. You saw it last year. He averaged 14 carries a game. He's going to get 18 carries a game this year. He's always a top 3 running back.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's over the hill yet. Like he's still a young running back. I think he's got something left to give. And so we've seen it year in and a year out, a committee, right?
Pacheco RB45. You're on that, right? As a playable handcuff.
I'm not on that, but that's the only reason that I'm taking Bijan. That's not the only reason. But it's one of the reasons.
It seems like you're about that because RB45 is nice value for Pacheco. We're in this offense, right? We're in on this offense, and Dan Campbell wants to use a timeshare. You just said it. So you can't say one thing and then say you're not on Isaiah Pacheco at RB45. Well, you told me you should be on him.
Yeah, I'll take a shot at Pacheco.
You should be slurping up. He should be on every one of your teams with what you said.
Fine. He'll be on every one of my teams. Isaiah Pacheco. I get it. I understand what you're saying, but that's what kind of makes this argument interesting. Is we got two top guys here that play your flight. You're not going to go. The nice thing is you're not going to go wrong if you take Bijan over Gibbs. Like Gibbs might have a slightly better season, but if you like Bijan over Gibbs or Gibbs over Bijan, like you're not going to go wrong with either one of these guys.
I think Bijan has a safer floor for two reasons. He's less likely to get hurt just based on his body and just he's never been hurt ever. And the pass catching stuff, like the volume in terms of receptions is going to be there, especially if Tua is playing quarterback. But the upside with Gibbs is if we're looking for this LaDainian Tomlinson type season, right? I don't think Bijan has that upside based on the offense he plays in. Jahmyr Gibbs could score 27 touchdowns this year. He scored like 18 in some years with David Montgomery on the team. Like, would it surprise you with Gibbs' talent level, ability to break touchdowns from any spot in the field, his involvement in the passing game, and the Lions loving to run the ball on the goal line more than any team in the league, and also having the most opportunities? Jahmyr Gibbs has higher upside. There's just that there's nothing you could tell me, Storey, to change my opinion on that. You won't.
Gibbs had 20 touchdowns in 24 when the Lions scored like 600 points, and that's just not going to happen.
That was with David Montgomery, though.
Right, and that's not going to happen. But, like, how many games did Montgomery play in 24? He did miss a fair...
He only missed... Yeah, he missed the last 3 games. That was when Gibbs went nuclear. He was averaging 27 touches a game. Pacheco lost his job consistently to 30-year-old Kareem Hunt. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Whatever reason, the Chiefs love Kareem Hunt. I don't understand it, but they love Kareem Hunt there.
They like criminals. They should probably trade for Josh Jacobs. All right, let's get to this dynasty question real quick before we get to the wide receivers and the Lions. Ladd or Olave and 227 first for Chase, Amon-Ra, or Puka?
Ladd or Olave and 227 Chase, Amon-Ra, Ladd or Olave.
I would trade Ladd. If I'm choosing to trade one of those, I'm trading Ladd over Olave, and then it'd be 2027 first, and I would want Jamar Chase. I want Chase. I rank Chase the highest and Ladd the lowest in terms of those two sides. Is that a fair trade? 2027 is a great draft class story. I'm gonna ask you this question.
Yeah, that is a tough one, but I would take the Chase side of it. I would probably take it for Puka too. Like, even though the 27 class is shaping up to be an outstanding class, there's still unknowns, and half those guys are going to bust. So you 50% chance that one of those two are, give me. It would be close for Amon-Ra, but I would take the Chase or Puka side, and I would have to think long and hard about the Amon-Ra side. Giving up, I'd rather give up Ladd than Olave.
Yeah, but Ladd's really young. This is one of those trades where obviously you're not going to know for a long time based on where the draft picks land and who you get and how those players perform. It's one of those where it's real close, right? I can't give you a winner. We can tell you what we would do, and it's Ladd for sure. And I want Jamar Chase number one. I love St. Brown, but Jamar Chase has St. Brown's one of those guys, kind of like Derrick Henry, where Derrick Henry's always running back 4 every year, which is awesome. Jamar Chase is wide receiver 4 in a bad year, and when he goes nuclear, he's the number 1 player in fantasy, and he has Joe Burrow. So I want Jamar Chase. That's the only. I'm not Puka. Too many questions because Puka in Dynasty, you're only getting 2 years of Matt Stafford. Now you might be in the in the doldrums of he's wide receiver 8 this year, right?
If you're a competing team, if somebody's I don't think that the person that you're trying to trade with has Chase, Amon-Ra, and Puka on their team. Correct me if I'm wrong. One GQ will. I don't think that's the case. If that's the case, tell them I want Jamar Chase. If it's not the case, try to target Chase. And if you can't get Chase, if you're a competing team, I'm still okay with Puka. 2 years of Puka with Matt Stafford could be absolute bananas because Devontae Adams is just going to tick a little bit down every single year.
I'm not doing it for Puka though. That's 2 first and Ladd. I'm not. I'm doing it for Chase though. I'm doing it for Chase. Also, I do hate Ladd McConkey, so probably I hate Ladd McConkey. He's terrible.
I don't hate Ladd McConkey.
He's awful.
I just think he's overrated.
I do. I hate him. All right, so wide receivers, St. Brown, wide receiver 4, Jamison Williams, wide receiver 25, and Isaac Tesla, wide receiver 67. So St. Brown is the only wide receiver with a 90-plus Pro Football Focus receiving grade in each of the last 4 seasons. Dude's a mark of consistency. What we love about him, you mentioned the story, dude plays hurt and doesn't remember how Calvin Johnson would play hurt and he'd be a decoy and have 2 for 25. St. Brown's always efficient, always good when he's hurt.
Julio Jones too, right? Those
Yeah.
His top 10 wide receivers. Dude, I'm on route. We were.
If St. Brown suits up, you're playing him.
You remember the game where he went out on like early in the first quarter, and then the next week we're like, it's a high ankle sprain. He's going to be a decoy,
back.
and he came back and he dominated. Like
he had like 6 for 80 and a touchdown, which is pretty goddamn good.
That's pretty
like
good.
For a guy, we're like, do we even start him? Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So, wide receiver 4 fair for St. Brown. Do you want St. Brown over Justin Jefferson? You want St. Brown over CeeDee Lamb? I guess is the question.
Yes to both.
I think that's fair, but he's not going to go over JSN. You want JSN over him?
I do want JSN over him. Yes, it's Chase, Puka, JSN, St. Brown for me.
What about Jameson Williams at wide receiver 25? He always lives in that range, and it's a frustrating start every week just because it's such boom bust, right? He's going to be a top 10 receiver. Seemingly, it's either top 10 for a week or he's in the 30s. Because if he doesn't have a big play and or a touchdown, you can say this about a lot of guys, but it's more glaring with a guy like Jameson Williams. You see these games where he has a 40-yard reception in the first quarter and he ends the day with 2 for 52. Right. It happens all too often, and they just don't scheme enough for him. And he's also not very good at football. Like he's the better version of Xavier Worthy. This is why we took Xavier Worthy, because Jameson Williams and Worthy have some similarities in their game. Jamo's a little bigger. But he's tied to Jared Goff, and they got back when Dan Campbell started calling plays for him. Remember what happened when J-Mo he took off? And the reason he took off is early on in the year, they're just like, we're going to run J-Mo on a bunch of X routes and a bunch of like go routes. Once Dan Campbell came over, guess what? We're going to run a bunch of crossers with Jameson Williams. When we identify the defense is in man, you cannot cover Jameson Williams running across the field. You can't. And when he catches the ball, he's usually gone or he's getting 30 yards. That's the upside with Jameson Williams. So it's all about usage. Wide receiver 25, is that fair? Because the upside is built in, and the downside isn't that bad, right? He's in the early wide receiver 3 range.
No, it doesn't seem like he's going to kill you every week anymore. It feels like as long as Dan Campbell has kind of got the reins there, that they're going to utilize him. Like you mentioned, the shift of just using him as a strictly a deep shot downfield guy and actually opening things up, allowing him to go – a lot of crossers. They did some curls with him. They did some outs, allowing him to work in space. Really changed the narrative on Jameson Williams. The problem is, you mentioned it, like it could be a slow start, and you could have games where he goes 2 for 30, and you're like, what happened? The Lions just put up 40 points, and Jameson Williams went 2 for 30. They might not need him. It's a super consolidated target tree. We really like that. It's Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Jameson Williams, and Laporta in that order. But some weeks it might be Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Laporta, Isaac Tesla catches a touchdown, and Jameson Williams gets not much. There might not be a ton left. Much better. I think he's a better pick in best ball. But at wide receiver 25, like if he does take that next step, which you will remember back to his college days, there was his 2-score first touchdown numbers were like plus 200. It was wild. Like you knew that he was getting the ball every single red zone shot. If they wanted, like, I mean, why would you want to? Amon-Ra is such a great red zone threat, but I don't know. There's opportunity there.
One thing people underrate in terms of building a fantasy team is it's sometimes you pick certain archetypes of players and style of players based on who you already have, right? So am I comfortable with Jameson Williams, my wide receiver 2? Probably not. If I have 2 steadier guys that are PPR guys, right, that are consistent week in, week out, I love Jameson Williams for that team. And even if he's just, let's say he's our wide receiver 3 on both different teams, but the other team, I have guys that are more inconsistent, and I don't want a third inconsistent guy. I need solid production. We're just not getting that from JMO, right? So that needs to be factored. I know a lot of people don't think about that, and maybe I'm overrating it, but I like to pick a team that kind of makes sense to where I'm comfortable each week to compete, because the idea is it's put up the most points, but also I don't want to have a week where I score 180 and then 110 because I'm going to go 1-1. I'd rather score 150 both weeks. I can go 2-0.
Yeah. So if you've got, if you've got steady Eddie guys in front of Jameson Williams and he's your wide receiver 3, you're pretty comfortable with that pick. But if you take some guys that are wild cards, you're going to want a much more like middle.
Like if Garrett Wilson's my wide receiver 2, I'm less likely to take JMO as my wide receiver 3. That's a good example. If I have a Lad McConkey, though, and he's inconsistent too, but I feel like he's more of a floor play, I would want a guy like JMO to get the upside. Just names tossing out there.
No, yeah, I get it. I'm just trying to like think through because there's team builds where Jamison Williams can absolutely help your team, right?
Yeah, Isaac Tesla, Storey, wide receiver 67. I love him for a bench receiver for the one reason that he is essentially a wide receiver handcuff. We don't have a lot of these guys because the targets are earned, but Tesla is a touchdown merchant, and he wouldn't fill the 1-to-1 role for either of these guys. But for Tesla, it's just, can he see the field? And I would project probably because Khalil Freeman's out, gone this year. What would you say Tesla's snap share will be this year? Is it 50%?
Yeah, I do expect they're going to play a lot more 12 personnel, just like everybody in the league is going. So 55% seems about right, I would expect. But even when he's on the field, he doesn't get targeted outside of the red zone. Like he's gonna pop his head up for 5-6 touchdowns probably this year with this team. But and he makes some incredible catches, but there's just starting him outside of best ball. I mean, you don't start in best ball, but like starting him in a regular redraft league, I would be terrified.
Well, no, but he's wide receiver 67, so he's literally a wide receiver 7 almost. Wide receiver 6.
Yeah.
So being a wide receiver 6, that's the perfect bench guy because he has built an upside based on injury. For sure.
Yeah,
Jamison Williams is not a health guy.
How long are you holding on to him? Because you're not dropping Blake Corum. You're not dropping Tyler Algier, right? You're not dropping any of these bench running backs. He's probably your first guy off of your roster. So I don't even see a real reason to draft him.
Would you rather take, I'm trying to think, like Trey Tucker's not a good example. I'm trying to think of a player, Trey Harris or Isaac Tesla on your bench. Because Trey Harris could emerge as the number 3 receiver, but you know what I mean? Like Tesla has an injury upside baked in with Jamison Williams, who also could get suspended. Who knows?
I'll tell you this. The rumors are now that Keenan Allen is welcome back in Los Angeles if he wants to come back. If he doesn't sign before the start of the season, then give me Trey Harris over Isaac Tesla.
Fair enough. Sam Laporta, our boy and Mouse boy, and we all love Mr. Laporta, tight end 7. And weird year last year because he got hurt. He had that back injury, and his rookie year was 10 touchdowns. His second year was 7 touchdowns. Last year was 3 touchdowns, but he only played half the year. Sam Laporta set career highs and ranked 5th among 49 qualifying tight ends last year in both yards per route and Pro Football Focus receiving grade. So he was having a pretty good year. The usage wasn't great, but you're tied to Jared Goff. You're tied to this offense. He's still only 25 years old. We took him in our dynasty startup story, and we both love I hate to say Laporta coming out, but I can adjust that. I still don't love the player that much, but I love the role. I love the situation. I love the upside. Tight end 7 is pretty fair, right? Would it surprise you if he's a top 5 tight end?
No, not at all. I mean, look at what he did his rookie season. I was huge on Sam Laporta coming out of college. Iowa, I know that you guys talked about how he didn't have a ton of production, but I would say 650, 700 yards receiving, even though he didn't have a ton of touchdowns. Like
0.
I wouldn't call that 0.
He had 0 his last year, 0.
Oh, 0 touchdowns. I thought you mean 0 production.
No.
Come on, 650 yards receiving for a tight end in the Big Ten.
0.
Like that's pretty good. That's I'd say it's pretty. Anyway, no, it wouldn't surprise me. He's been hammered by injuries since after his rookie season. So if he can keep it all together and he's a full-time player, I could absolutely see him outperforming that draft spot.
So me and Ray had a 15-minute argument in one of the best ball drafts, and he took Colson Loveland in Dynasty, and this was a redraft conversation mostly. And I was just trying to tell him that Sam Laporta is better value this year than Colson Loveland. He's like, "You're fucking crazy." I'm like, I don't like Colson Loveland going at pick 45 or Sam Laporta going at pick 85, like 40 pick difference. Like, I'm not saying Laporta is going to have a better year than Loveland. I'm saying he doesn't have to have better value. It's not even close to me. You agree?
I agree 100%. Loveland is not being overdrafted per se because, he does have that upside, but give me the 40 pick or 50 pick difference or whatever it is. And let me get a guy that we saw have an electric rookie year. Hopefully, stays healthy, and this should be a top 10 offense again.
Yeah, Ray, if you're listening, Ray, we 2-1.
I don't know who
Majority rules.
What is he, a clown?
What, is he a clown? What, are you kidding me?
Well, what is he?
Yes, he's a clown.
All right, so what's the big deal? There's millions of clowns.
right, just forget it.
Forget me? You should forget it. You're living in the past, man. You hung up on some clown from the 60s, man.
That episode was just on the other day.
What was the argument? I'm pretty sure that was the argument, Dakota. It was at value. I wasn't arguing Laporta over Colson Loveland. That'd be silly. I wouldn't draft like that anyway. It was I prefer Laporta at tight end 7, 40 picks later, and he's going to return better value than Colson Loveland. And value is relative to where you get these guys in the draft. You can have 3 players ahead of him that you would, I don't want to take Colson Loveland over, Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall. I really don't want to do that. Talk about Jets players, apparently.
I don't know. Some people are high on the Jets this year. I'm not sure I understand it, but there's a lot of people
that loves them. Yeah. Mouth loves them. Let me know what the argument was and if I'm off base here. But either way, eat a dick, Ray. We love you. By the way, we love Ray. Heavy hearts for Ray. He lost his uncle. We are with you, Ray. We're with you.
I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks.
Loveland isn't a better. Oh, Ray was trying to say Loveland is a better scenario. You were saying Laporta had better value. Right. So he was arguing something totally different. But I'm just talking value because we're talking fantasy. Let's move on to the Packers. The Green Bay Packers. We chatted about Josh Jacobs earlier, guys. If you missed that, just go back to the beginning of the video later and you can check that out. Packers 9-7-1 last year. They had that crazy tie against the Cowboys. 391 points forward, 360 points against. What do you think about the Packers? I know you were low on them before. Now the Jacobs stuff. We still have the Parsons question mark. So there's a lot of ifs in this team. They lost a lot of receivers. I'm a LaFleur guy in the regular season. He's very good in the regular season.
No first round pick. Well, sorry, I didn't realize you were just kicking it back to me. I was pouring another beer. So no first round pick. This there's a lot of ifs on this team. If Parsons is available for week 1, but that was a significant knee injury.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think the roster's good enough to contend for the NFC North, like at least for a wild card position, although they haven't been much better than the wild card the last 3 years. If he needs time to rehab, if he's not there to start, then they didn't make a whole lot of moves in the offseason. I get a little concerned that this team didn't they had some glaring holes and they didn't really make any big moves in the offseason to kind of fix those. So there's no depth behind Parsons. So if he's not ready, who's stepping up to Luke Van Ness? Okay, I guess he hasn't been much of anything there. Defensive line looks okay. They improved their numbers, but this team is they've gone downhill every year for the last 3 years, or not downhill, but they've taken a step back. So with this Jacob news, they've got enough time to kind of right the ship, but that is going to send some shockwaves through the organization. Does LaFleur have it in him to coach his team back to the top of the NFC North? And I just don't see it. There is we'll get to it from a fantasy perspective, but I do like the consolidation of targets from the wide receiver room.
Yeah, finally. Jordan Love, quarterback 18, which is it's weird that he doesn't run very often. He's definitely capable, but he's typically always, last year he had the concussion and some lower body stuff, but it's always lower body stuff with this kid, ankles, hamstrings. But Jordan Love completed 71% of his passes at 8.4 yards per attempt with Tucker Kraft through week 8 last year. He sank to a 61.9% completion rate with 7.0 yards per attempt without Kraft. So that was a big loss. Tucker Kraft was a beast last year. Is this all because of Tucker Kraft, or did Jordan Love start playing worse? Because we've seen him have these 3-game stretches that are all-time great, right? It's 12 touchdowns or 11 touchdowns or 10 touchdowns and 1 pick. And then he'll have the next 3 games, and it's literally three touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say those stretches are his fault. They just don't need to. There's a lot of times where they don't need to do much with him because LaFleur loves the running game here. LaFleur is married to the running game. So this Jacobs news throws a lot of things into whack. I mean, it's a big monkey wrench. Or I don't know, Love at 18, I can't see drafting him in a single quarterback redraft league. I just don't know what upside exists. You mentioned it, there's a little bit of scrambling, but not really much, not what we thought coming out. Wicks is gone. Dobbs is gone. They basically wasted 2 first-round picks. They didn't have a first-round pick this year, and Golden clearly not a first-round pick. So they need him to take a step forward. Even if he takes a step forward, like, was he worth the 19th overall pick 2 years ago? I'm not so sure.
And here's the issue with Love, where obviously he's not in the quarterback 1 range. He's quarterback 18. I like my second quarterback, unless I'm taking a shot on a inconsistent guy, but there's not a lot of those guys going as starters, like a scrambler or unproven guy. I would want a safe guy. My second quarterback's always an upside shot, typically, if I'm going to take one. It's a Malik Willis. It's something like that, right? It's Baker Mayfield, Tyler Shuck, guys like that. Like Jordan Love just seems like a floor play to me. And I don't see any reason to take him as my quarterback 2, besides just having a guy that can be, a fringe quarterback 1 most weeks, I guess. But like rarely does he have consistent stretches of like, this guy needs to be in my lineup. And I just don't like taking guys like that. Mouse says the return of Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb. We didn't mention Nick Chubb.
We didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Joe Mixon's done. I think Joe Mixon's dust. He's done. Foot injury was ominous. Nick Chubb is probably done too, though. But I have more faith in Nick Chubb than Joe Mixon. I
can see Nick Chubb having a twilight season where he comes out and he runs for 750 yards or whatever it is. The Mixon injury is such a weird one. I don't remember something as weird as that in recent memory. I think he's done.
Do you remember when Dennis Rodman broke his dick?
No.
Yeah, so he there's Dr. Lecter did it, and most of us, Storey, and I don't know about your measurements, but Dennis Rodman's hogged out. We're not like that level of hogged out, and you have to be really big, and if they're riding you and it slips out, it fucking it dislocates it, like the cartilage. So that you were saying you can't remember a weirder injury, and I just mentioned Dennis Rodman's broken dick. That's why you guys tune in the show in May. That's why you guys tune in the show in May. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what I'm going to fucking say. And hell yeah. Thank you. Mal, Tucker Kraft takes over Jordan Love's body using a essence transfer, and he controls his own body and Jordan Love when he's out there because he's Tucker motherfucking Kraft. I love Tucker Kraft last year as my favorite player. And, the injury aside, we can take victory laps when we're so far ahead of the curve, and we were last year in this channel. Specifically me, and I got you around the Tucker Kraft bandwagon. You were a Tyler Warren guy, which was also a fine pick until, Daniel Jones died. But
yeah,
all the metrics, the numbers, and I have a stat for you that's going to blow your mind with Tucker Kraft in a little bit. But Tucker Kraft is a god. Mouth, you're the man. I owe you guys a chug for hitting the goal. We're going to do an underdog draft after this, Story. You don't have to stay on if you don't want. I'm sure you got to do some sleepy. One of these days, you got to get on here with us and do that. So, let's move on to, Josh Jacobs we talked about. We're not going to really talk about Josh Jacobs anymore. There's nothing to talk about. Let's talk about the wide receiver room. Christian Watson, wide receiver 29. Jaden Reed, wide receiver 39. Matthew Golden, wide receiver 49. So literally 10 spots difference, each of these guys. What's the most fair price? Like, obviously, Christian Watson's the one there. Do you trust Christian Watson at wide receiver 29?
I'm okay with that price, but man, I love Jaden Reed at wide receiver 39. I absolutely love that because he's not been a full-time player. But what do they have behind those 3 guys? Bo Melton, okay, fine. Wicks and Dobbs took a lot of snaps. With those 2 guys gone, you got 3 wide receivers. Golden was incredibly disappointing last year, right? 361 yards.
0 touchdowns.
No touchdowns in the regular season. 29 receptions. So what if Reed becomes the 2 there? Like, what if he starts playing in 2 wide receiver sets? What
not
if?
Happening?
I'm just saying, what if?
The Packers historically, and maybe they're going to change this, they have their archetypes of wide receivers, and they're just so like it's. I'm not saying it's right, it's wrong. They think that if you're a certain size, you're not capable of playing outside. You're not capable of playing in 2 wide receiver sets. That's the reason Jaden Reed hasn't played. I'm telling you, it's documented. And hopefully they get this right. But they also have a lot more. They did just pay Jaden Reed 3 years, $50 million, which isn't that much in the wide receiver market. But Matthew Golden's a first-round pick. They want to make him work. I like Matthew Golden as my favorite pick here in terms of ADP, not just because he's the latest guy. I don't know. I think he got a raw deal. He got hurt last year as well as a rookie. He was always going to be he was overdrafted for sure. We know this. Yes. A hometown pick in the draft was a stupid pick.
Yes.
But Matthew Golden, wide receiver 49, that is outside the wide receiver 4 range, man. That is I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
I love all these guys. I think all
I don't see working out.
Is there a way that all these guys are values?
Potentially. I mean,
2 out of 3
in order. It's Reed, Watson, Golden for me, like potentially, but That you're asking Jordan Love to sustain 3 wide receivers in fantasy. That seems like a tall task, especially because they do love running the ball, even if Josh Jacobs isn't there for half the season.
So Christian Watson led GT. I'm going to get to your super in just a second, buddy. Christian Watson led Packers wide receivers in targets per route, yards per route, Pro Football Focus receiving grade, the yards per route and PFF grade were both career highs and ranked top 6 among 76 qualifying wide receivers in the NFL. And that was in like what, an 8-game sample size. He came back from the injury earlier than we thought. That was coming off injury too, with a more crowded receiver room. So we should be about Christian Watson. It's just the injury concerns, I think, is the main thing.
I'm not opposed to Christian Watson whatsoever. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more, although, like I said, they do love running the ball. I just love Reed at that cost because outside of a wide receiver 3 for Jaden Reed, who even as a part-time player, they love him in the red zone. They love him for touchdowns. Like I just think there's a ton of upside if they decide to play him more in 2 wide receiver sets. It's possible. It's possible.
All right, GT wants to know what can we expect from the Chargers offense next season with or without Keenan Allen? I think it's without. And then also second part of the question is who takes the NFC East? Answer that one first for us, Storey. Who you got in the NFC East?
The Eagles. It's pretty easy.
Taking the boys. I'm taking the boys. Give me the Cowboys. Give me their draft. Give me Dak Prescott. Give me a renaissance year. Let's go, Cowboys. What can we expect from the Chargers offense? And I think what he failed to mention here, that's the most important thing, is Mike McDaniel. Like, that's the thing. And Justin Herbert, can we just finally get a healthy Justin Herbert season? And he usually plays through injuries, but you got Slater and you got Alt back, seemingly back. And you have Justin Herbert coming into the year healthy. It was just a wrist injury. When I say just a wrist injury, we don't want guys coming off knee injuries or shoulder injuries, specifically as a quarterback. A wrist injury, it was a non-throwing wrist. So, like, I'm not worried about the injury at all. McDaniel, offensive line, Herbert. Upside is what, Storey, for the Chargers offense? Offense what? Points per game.
I mean, realistically, so I put their offense kind of like top, like middle. So like 14, but their upside is top 8. Like they could be really good this year. The talent is there. Mike McDaniel as a head coach was disappointing, I would say. Although that might have been more to it than anything. But replacing Greg Roman with Mike McDaniel is going to change this offense significantly. The use of motion, the use of 2 like blocking tight ends, the speed, everything like that McDaniel brings, the Chargers haven't seen that in years. So this should, fingers crossed, unlock Justin Herbert finally. Is he going to be a top 3 quarterback in fantasy? No. Like, there's the rushing upside is just not there. Like, he rushes because he's forced to, because the offensive line didn't exist last year. So yeah, he's still a top 8 quarterback in fantasy potentially. I know that everybody's on the Chargers, but I think they're on them for a good reason. Like,
and we like McDaniel. He's not a great head coach, and the whole situation with Tua and the Dolphins was wacky. And he kind of wore out his welcome there. But as a coordinator, this is the same guy that had Tua lead the league in passing. I know Tyreek Hill was a big part of that, but like that's one thing. And then going on the other end of last year's Chargers team, yes, their offensive line was decimated. They also, which is the craziest thing I heard, was last year they ran the most 3 wide receiver sets in the NFL. So they refused to have someone help out this poor offensive line. Like, the game plan they were throwing out there was an F. Like, you can't do that. You have to just put some extra bodies in there. Play some 12 personnel. Put a fullback in the fucking game. Do anything to not get Justin Herbert murdered. And, like, that stat includes the weeks Justin Herbert had a broken wrist. It's the craziest thing ever. I'm just saying, like, we're going to have a competent, creative offensive mind that can not worry about the day-to-day stuff. And Mike McDaniel was over his head as a head coach. We all know that. Dude's a nerd. Dude's weird with the media. Players don't respect him. Very good coordinator. So we love this. Let's move on to Tucker Kraft to end this Packers discussion. Appreciate you, GT. Ready for some Tucker Kraft glaze here. And just so you know, you guys have all heard this. My number 1 player last year. I fucking love this guy. Every share in the world. All I did was talk about him, and he even proved me wrong. Believe it or not, as much as I said I had him as tight end 3, he was tight end 2, almost tight end 1 when he was healthy per game. So Tucker Kraft tied for second among tight ends in PPR points per game, but ranked just 13th in expected points per game. He was the biggest overachiever at tight end, scoring five more points than expected. So it's like the opportunity wasn't even that great, but he was just like catching an 8-yard pass and breaking 3 tackles, like unreal stuff. Kraft's 10.8 yards after catch per reception, led all tight ends and ranked third among 151 players with 40-plus targets last year. Storey, do you remember last year preseason what my comp was for Tucker Kraft? The player comp I had that you said was like insane because it was insane, but now it's not insane?
Was it the old Chargers guy?
No, it was George Kittle. I said he's George Kittle.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I was
George
thinking
Kittle is one of the best tight ends ever.
Yeah.
And Tucker Kraft is George Kittle, guys. He is George Kittle. But ACL injury, coming off the ACL, happened pretty early, midway through the season. Reports are good. Tight end 5 for Tucker Kraft. What do you think?
I mean, reports are good, right? We need to keep an eye on this. If he's healthy, it should be another good season. I think that it's tough because that ACL injury was pretty bad. Like that wasn't just a little bit of a tear. Like that was a devastating knee injury. So but he's being drafted. Like there's no discount for the injury, right? So it's
not yet.
It's Loveland, Warren, and then Tucker Kraft. Like there's no discount for the injury. You would have thought maybe Fannin, Gadsden, some of these guys would slip in ahead of him because of the ACL injury. But man, no, there's no discount. I think people are pretty sharp. So it's going to be.
But you know why, Storey? You know why that is because Romeo Doubs and Wicks aren't there anymore. So,
right.
The situation's much better, and the defense will be worse without Parsons, at least for the first quarter of the year, it appears. And this is Tucker Kraft time, man. Like when I just read the stats to you, it's like he was doing more with less. Now he can actually just do less with more and have the same production, if that makes sense, where he just doesn't need to have all-time metrics. He just needs to be above average at tight ends, and he should have, maybe a 5 to 7% increase in terms of target share. Just also with what we saw this team just go to shit after he left.
Increase? That's a lot, dude.
Yeah, he wasn't a high targeted player last year.
No, I know, but that's a lot. Like for a tight end, especially a team that loves running the ball and loves running multiple wide receiver sets.
But now they don't have any wide receivers, and they also saw what happened when Tucker Kraft wasn't on the field. Like he was their best player last year. And
I don't disagree.
We should probably feature our best player, right?
You would think that even though Jaden Reed doesn't fit the prototype of their ex wide receiver or their slot flanker, that he'd be in there on 2 wide receiver sets. But here we are.
We also saw, and we've kind of known this. We saw how bad Luke Musgrave is, which is another thing. It's like. So, and they still had some hope. It's just like Tucker Kraft was so much better but now we know it's not even Tucker Kraft's that much better. It's that Luke Musgrave's that much worse. And this is awesome. He's going to be on the field every snap. This is with positive medicals. Like he is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. So like the snap share's there, the target share will go up. Still an average to above average offense, we hope. Let's move on to the Vikings, end this thing out with a lot of questions here on this Vikings team, a lot of uncertainty. At least you think so, because you keep on mentioning that you think it's a quarterback competition with Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, which is insane. Vikings 9-8 last year. I cannot believe they went 9-8. 344 points against. What are the odds as Kyler? 90-10?
I don't think it's that high. I mean, the quarter reports, this is a true QB competition. So
they got to say that to boost the kid's spirit, man. Like he's essentially he's like one of these Make-A-Wish kids. Like they got to try to do something to make him happy because he's in the dumps. 9 is dying.
I think they're going to give McCarthy the opportunity to make this a competition. I still think it's 80-20 Kyler, but I don't think it's as clear cut as everybody thinks it is.
82. Okay. I think it's 100%, but as long as Kyler doesn't break his leg.
Well,
Hedger says Kyler has no. Go ahead.
So that's kind of the issue, though, right? Like Kyler Murray has had real trouble staying healthy over the last 4 years. Like his last full season was what, 2021?
Correct. Hedger says Kyler has no fucking work ethic. I don't know how the fuck they thought the signing was good. Oh, I'll break it down to you why this was a great signing. Because he's getting paid over $40 million from the Cardinals. They have to pay him $1.8 million. So they're not paying him any money. He's the cheapest quarterback in the NFL. He's 29 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. This is it for Kyler Murray. So I agree with you. He has no fucking work ethic, as you put it. That's a fact. The video game stuff, it's all documented. We hate Kyler Murray. He's the fucking garden gnome. But this is the perfect situation. He's been in a bad situation. The Cardinals are a bottom 3 franchise. True or false, Story?
True.
Okay. He had the ACL a couple years ago. The work ethic stuff's for real. But if there was ever a year, now this could be a crutch argument. If there's ever a year, Kyler Murray's going to get in the lab, get in the fucking gym, get in the film room, maybe sell his Xbox, hopefully, or at least like not pay the Xbox Gold membership so he doesn't have online. He can play offline. Like maybe he has a LAN party. Who knows? This is the year, right? Because this is make or break for Kyler. And like, what else were they going to do? What else were the Vikings going to do, Story? They had no other option.
Microsoft did just reduce the price of the Xbox Ultimate membership by $7. So, yeah.
What were they going to do, though? They had no choice. This is a good move for them. Whether you like it or not, it was a good move.
Joking aside, I agree with you. Like, this is potentially the best opportunity we've had for Kyler Murray since his rookie season, right? Because what did he deal with at head coach and coordinator there? His head coach for his first 3 years was Cliff Kingsbury, and then what? It was Jonathan Gannon. Like, this is bad. Like, that is as bad as they come. We've talked about Kevin O'Connell as a quarterback whisperer. Perhaps it's not as clear-cut as that, but he's certainly miles ahead of either one of the coaches that Murray's had to deal with the last 2 stints in Arizona.
So I am not a Kyler guy. Let me just put this on record, but I can't deny the guy's talent. And with that being said, he's fucking 5'10". But the recent 3 guys that have kind of started this whole wave of essentially quarterback reclamation projects: Baker Mayfield, draft pick; Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. Geno Smith one's wild because he was ancient when it happened. But Kyler Murray is the most talented of this bunch. Would you agree with that? Darnold was legit ass on the Jets, like ass.
Yeah,
We saw Kyler Murray lead a team to 7-1 start. He was first in the MVP voting halfway through the year as a young player. Like,
I'm not disagreeing with that, but talent-wise, I would.
Yes, talent-wise.
I mean, like athlete-wise, it's Kyler, but talent-wise, I would say it's Baker.
Talent, all-around talent. Okay, maybe it's Baker, but Baker's also 5'11" or 6 foot. Like, Baker was pretty bad. He was on a practice squad. I love Baker. I'm just saying, like, it's close. He's either the best or second best of this bunch.
Okay, I don't disagree with the other two.
That's what I'm saying. Is we look at that. Darnold just won a Super Bowl. Geno had 2 really good years in Seattle, and Baker now is a franchise quarterback for the Buccaneers. And I'm telling you, Kyler is as good, if not better, than all of these guys.
So you're talking.
There's a lot of other
reclamation projects, right?
Yeah, of these reclamation projects, like this is the perfect reclamation project, and it's great for the Vikings because they're probably not going to re-sign him. You know. Well, Hetra says Baker is 6'1". He's listed at 6'1". Baker's not 6'1". Get the hell out of here with that. Like, no, he's not 5'10". He's like 5'11" or 6 foot. Kyler is what is Kyler listed at? Kyler's probably listed at like 5'11", dude.
I actually don't know what he's listed.
Look it up. I bet Kyler's listed at 5'11". There is no fucking way. Bryce Young is listed. No, Bryce Young actually isn't that short, but
5 feet 10 and 1/8 inches according to
for Kyler.
Yeah.
Kyler's 5'8". Kyler's 5'8", legit 5'8".
They say 5'10", but yeah.
Well, no, but Kyler's not 5'10". Get the hell out of here. He's a fucking midget. Yeah, Baker's listed at 6'1". Is that correct?
Let's see what Baker's listed at.
Because he's not 6'1".
He's listed at 6'1", but yeah, is he really 6'1"? Probably not.
I'm just saying, Kyler's listed at 5'10" and an eighth or a quarter. He's not. Like, it's just,
he's closer to 6. He's closer to 6 feet than he is 6'1".
Correct. We know this because we met him. We had beers with him, and we did the whole back-to-back thing. Like, remember that picture? We'll send the picture to the Discord. Me and Storey had beers with Baker. It was awesome.
Yeah, we did. It was fun.
So the Kyler signing's great, and whether it works out or not, like they had no choice. JJ McCarthy is not ready for the NFL. That was an F. That was F quarterback. Okay, it was F plus for JJ, and it was an F for Brosmer. Like that's the bar, the Brosmer bar. It's really low line, but they had to bring in somebody, and there was no one else to bring in. They could have traded for Mac Jones, I guess, but a 2nd-round pick for Mac Jones. Who do you want, Mac Jones or Kyler Murray, for this 1 year on the Vikings? If you had a choice in the vacuum, no 2nd-round pick, none of that shit, 1 year deal, whatever the contract is, Kyler or Mac Jones?
So no contract. Like, we're just taking them straight up. Who do I want? Basically,
yeah, for this 1 year, 1 year deal.
Kyler Murray. Yeah.
Yeah. And all that being said, Mac Jones actually fits this system more. Kyler Murray does not really fit the system, but this is an upside shot. And this is like change of scenery for both Kyler Murray and the Vikings, right? That's where I was kidding. We didn't drink with Baker Mayfield. He thought we did. I would love to. Kyler Murray, quarterback 17 Story, and this is a fantasy thing. As bad as Kyler's been in recent history in real life, he's been awesome in fantasy. Like he, outside of last year, he's always a top 10 quarterback. Oh, usually a top 6 quarterback. So quarterback 17 with Kevin O'Connell, with Jordan Addison, with one of the best receivers, top 3 in my mind, Justin Jefferson, maybe top 2, and a great offensive mind. Like I mentioned, this is a smash, right?
I don't know, man. Like it is tough to kind of wrap your head around. Like Kyler's been great, but he's also been really bad. Like the last season and a half in Arizona were atrocious, and a lot of that was
Arizona. A lot of it was Arizona.
Well, I mean, a lot of it was like trying to force Kyler into being a pocket passer, and he's not a pocket passer. So
No.
you got to hope that Kevin O'Connell sees that and he plays to Murray's strength. But that system in Arizona or in Minnesota is built on pocket passing, so and timing and all that kind of stuff. So I get worried about that.
Well, hey, remember how we were talking about Jordan Love at quarterback 18, right? And we're like, we don't see the reason for taking him at backup. Kyler Murray is your quarterback too. If you want to take, the Fantrax is that play. There's 18 rounds. There's no trade, so everyone takes 2 or 3 quarterbacks. I want to take a shot on Kyler Murray over Jordan Love, all like way over Jordan Love, right? Because there's a chance Kyler Murray's a top 5 quarterback. Just because we've seen it a lot.
I would say though, like I would agree because those quarterbacks, 16 to 20, like what is the rushing upside? And that's what we're looking for in fantasy. Who actually has that? It's Kyler Murray.
Malik Willis. It's Malik Willis and Kyler Murray, but Malik Willis has literally the worst situation in the history of situations we've ever seen. There's nothing worse than that. It's all rookies, bad offensive line, bad play caller, and Malik Willis has 6 starts under his belt if you don't count Tennessee.
They refuse to give him any help. They refuse to give him any help.
Kyler has some help. Coordinator's good. Justin Jefferson's an all-timer. Let me say this one last thing about Kyler Murray. As much as I'm saying I love it this year, I think he's going to be on his best behavior. Like I would not sign Kyler Murray to a giant extension if I'm a team like the Steelers. Like after this year, if he dominates, like I don't trust Kyler Murray to be the franchise quarterback. This is a 1-year thing in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson. I feel like Kyler Murray is going to put it in this year to try to get a contract. Then he's going to go back to playing Call of Duty and whatever else he does. And that's fine. We're going to make money on Kyler Murray this year. So let's go to the running game here because this matters. And let's see if I have some stats here. Yeah, I didn't have any Kyler Murray stats because he didn't really play a lot last year, and I didn't want to read them off. So Aaron Jones registered career lows last year in yards per carry, rush yards over expected per attempt, yards after contact per carry, missed tackles force per carry, and PFF rushing grade. Worst year of Aaron Jones' career. The running game as a whole was bad. The offensive line was bad. Aaron Jones, running back 39. Jordan Mason, RB 42. Let me give you some Jordan Mason love here, and you can kind of sift through this for me, Story. Jordan Mason beat Aaron Jones in all 5 of those above metrics, ranked top 11 amongst 51 qualifying running backs in yards per carry, rush yards over expected per attempt, and yards after contact per attempt. Jordan Mason was awful last year, though. So I don't know, like the eye test was not that, right? It was bad. He was bad last year. So how is that possible? Were our eyes wrong or are these stats wrong?
I mean, how did they have a positive point differential last year? I don't quite know that. I don't know. I'm off of the running game in Minnesota this year. I just don't see Aaron Jones is clearly past the age apex, and he doesn't have any interest in being there. It seems like he was on record last week talking about how he missed Green Bay. Like I get worried when guys come out and say stuff about their former franchise. And Jordan Mason, like from a fantasy perspective, the dude has no pass catching upside whatsoever. So I'm not sure there's any upside in this running game whatsoever. I just don't see it.
Well, there has to be though, because they're both going in the RB3, RB4 range almost. Like,
I mean, I was really into Aaron Jones last year, and I was hating on Jordan Mason. I did not understand why people are all on him. So call it a mixed bag, right? Like I was in on Aaron Jones, but I was way down on Jordan Mason. This year, like, I don't know, man. I don't see where the upside comes from because we want pass catching. It's not Jordan Mason, but Aaron Jones is just dusty.
Yeah. Oh, okay. How about I throw this wrinkle in there? And we're going to be able to figure this out right now. Guys, live on the stream, we're going to figure out exactly what's going on with this backfield based on this answer and this answer alone. Damon Claiborne, fifth or sixth round pick out of Wake Forest. You liked him more than me coming out. Is he going to factor into this backfield this year without an injury?
No.
Okay, so now we have a two-headed committee on a perceived top 15 offense, with Kevin O'Connell. There's value in this backfield. I didn't tell you we tell you which one to draft. I just told you if that was the answer that I thought you were going to give. And I think, as gross as it sounds, Jordan Mason's the value. Because Aaron Jones sucks, dude. Aaron Jones sucks.
Stumble into 10 touchdowns in that case.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah, he's a value.
And Kyler Murray is actually, for a scrambling quarterback, he does check the ball down a lot. Like, go back to James Conner seasons, but he also, the dual threat, the RPO threat that they haven't had, last year with JJ McCarthy, obviously, because he would just fumble the fucking snap. That you have efficiency upticks for these running backs, and who's going to take advantage of that is a guy like Jordan Mason. And again, it's gross. I don't love either of these guys, but I would take a shot on PPR on Aaron Jones. If I go, let's say I take a shot on, a lot of wide receivers early and my running back 2 is just not great. Aaron Jones could be a guy I could play or flex or whatever in PPR. If I'm looking for an upside start, it's Jordan Mason. It's just because Aaron Jones also just never stays healthy ever.
What round are these guys being drafted in?
I don't even know. 12 plus. I mean, that's super late. Like,
somebody,
we always say, Storey, we want to target these murky backfields. There's never been a murkier backfield. This thing is fucking gross.
Somebody's got to carry the ball there. And
someone's got to carry the ball. Exactly. And someone's got to score touchdowns. Someone's got to catch the ball in the backfield.
Yeah.
But Aaron Jones just won't stay healthy. So that leads me to be like, Jordan Mason. Give me Jordan Mason.
I guess, these guys are worth shots. I would say both of them worth shots. Gun to my head, I'd probably, even though I don't really like him, because there's no pass catching upside, I'd probably go Jordan Mason just because of what we saw with Aaron Jones last year. Although he was hurt. He was hurt last year. He did deal with it.
Hurt. Yeah, Mason was hurt too.
Yeah, I'm just saying Aaron Jones gets hurt a lot.
He got hurt a lot 4 years ago, dude. He was injured 4 years ago, and he's been hurt every year since. And he just doesn't have the body to carry the load. And doesn't have the talent to carry the load anymore.
Yeah, speaking
maybe, of loads,
maybe Claiborne could get some run. I did like him coming out.
Don't change your tune now. Just that let's move on to the wide receivers. So Justin Jefferson, wide receiver 6, Jordan Addison, wide receiver 42, Juwan Jennings, wide receiver 61, Jalen Naylor departed, essentially replaced by Juwan Jennings. Justin Jefferson ranks among wide receivers last year, tied for 70th in touchdowns. You know how many touchdowns Justin Jefferson had last year? 2. How is that possible? But it gets even crazier. He was 4th in expected touchdowns with 8.8. And he had 2. Tied for 9th in red zone targets with 33. Tied for 3rd in end zone targets with 14. So that's a JJ McCarthy stat, folks. That's JJ McCarthy right there. Wally, if you're listening, I'm sorry. JJ McCarthy's ass, and he is ass, he is cheeks, he is butthole. He is coming.
JJ McCarthy over-targeted Justin Jefferson, even though it didn't.
He wanted to make him feel better, but JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, Dad. You need some of this.
This is cum.
Jordan Addison registered a career low 7.1% touchdown rate in 2025, but his 13.1 expected touchdown rate was a career high. And, his rookie, what did he have? 8? He has had 8 touchdowns, I think, both years, or 8 or 6. He's 15 the first 2 years. I know. It's pretty decent. And he doesn't really comp as a guy that's going to have a lot of touchdowns. He's not really a red zone merchant. He's kind of a tactician, smaller guy. Addison, wide receiver 42, Jennings, wide receiver 61. How do you break this split down? Obviously Justin Jefferson's a tier in his own. Let's start with JJ before we get to the other guys. Wide receiver 6. Are you in now at that price? Because it's end of the first round, 1-2 turn.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the history of JJ McCarthy. I do think the signing of Jennings was wise from a real life perspective for the Vikings, right? He was a guy who had 90 targets in 24, 90 targets in 25. He helped Purdy get in a rhythm. We could certainly see that with whomever it is at quarterback, probably Kyler Murray. His presence should open up downfield opportunities for both Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So while I really don't have an interest in Jennings per se, I do like what it affords both Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
Jennings, what are we doing with him? 61? Like, it's pretty low. I mean, it's pretty low. I'm kind of off, but I like it more for Kyler Murray.
Fantasy,
that's exactly what Dakota said.
Fantasy, I don't have any interest. For real life, it's great for the Vikings. Like, he should catch a ton of passes. It's going to be like low calorie, empty, whatever passes, but it should be good for Kyler Murray. It should be really good for the other two guys in the wide receiver room. Like, I really like what it did for this team, but I don't have any interest. Like, even at wide receiver 61, where is the upside coming from with Jennings? Like, is there anyone plus?
Exactly. Is there anyone you want? So Justin Jefferson is 6. It's a fair ranking based on who's behind him, but Drake London, do you want Drake London over Justin Jefferson this year?
Yes, I would still take Drake London.
Neighbors, no, because of the injury, but I would take Neighbors over.
That's only because of the injury.
George Pickens, Nico Collins, like none of those guys.
No.
Right?
No, I would not take Pickens, but I would think long and hard about Nico Collins, especially because you saw the news today that they restructured his contract.
So I still want Justin Jefferson over Drake London just because Justin Jefferson's a fucking all-timer, and I get the target share. I love Drake London. But I think my answer is I'm just taking a running back there because I could take, for instance, Jonathan Taylor's probably gone, but you have James Cook, Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley. Like, I'm just taking specifically Saquon Barkley at the end of the first round, and I'm a little bit higher I'm actually a lot higher on Saquon than everyone else in the world. Would you take Saquon Barkley in a full PPR, or would you take Justin Jefferson?
Saquon Barkley. I'm high on Saquon Barkley this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you should. I mean, because we're talking about Storey. It's easy money, dude. He's gonna catch 50 balls this year, and that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
What about this one? What about this one? Kenneth Walker, Junk Buster. I'll get to their comments here in a second. Haven't seen Junk in a while. How you doing, buddy? And Storey loves his name. Not as much as Wild Rotten Sex Hog, but Rotten Sex Hog and Junk Buster are best buddies.
Where's Rotten Sex Hog?
Kenneth Walker at the turn is a little aggressive, but we're both higher on Kenneth Walker than consensus. Kenneth Walker or Justin Jefferson?
God, that's right down the line. They're going at the turn.
Oh no, Kenneth Walker's going like end of the second round.
So okay, so you would have to really be in love with Kenneth Walker then.
Well, we are. James Cook and Ashton Genty. You want those guys over?
Yes. James Cook and Ashton Genty for sure.
All right. We have one more name to talk about here, and it's TJ Hockenson, my love affair, my dude. I think he's terrible at football, but I think Kyler Murray can't throw to wide receivers very well. And we know he can. It's not that I think. TJ Hockenson, tight end 22. I love this ADP. I love it for best ball. I love it for redraft. I am comfortable this year, Storey. If I take an early quarterback in my typical deep full PPR leagues where it's 3 receivers and a flex, I am comfortable rolling with TJ Hockenson as my starter in a full PPR, and my team would be stacked, obviously. And I just need him to be, I think he's going to be tight end 10 this year in PPR. I think he's catching 70 balls.
What tight ends are going around him? Who's 21? Who's 23? Who's 20? Who's 24?
I'll read you 20 to 24. So we have, I'll give you 19 to 25. Sadiq is 19. Kenyon Sadiq. Bretton Strange, tight end 20. Juwan Johnson, tight end 21. TJ Hockenson, tight end 22. Dalton Schultz, 23. AJ Barnard, 24. And Gunnar Helm, 25. I'll throw in Kate Otten and Pat Freiermuth at 26 and 27.
You can keep those 4 guys behind him, but I would certainly take Schultz, Jennings, and who was just before Jennings?
You mean Juwan Johnson?
I'm sorry, Johnson, yeah.
Dude, Oscar Delp's there. Get out of here with that.
Oh, Oscar Delp, okay.
To Jordan Tyson. Kenyon Sadiq, Bretton Strange.
Sadiq, I would think long and hard about, but Bretton Strange is an easy draft over DJ Hockenson.
No way, dude.
100%.
There's a million receivers there.
Doesn't matter. He was a valuable part of that offense. And they didn't draft Nate Borkature so they could run 3 wide receiver sets. They drafted Nate Borkature so they could run 2 tight end sets. And who's the tight end that's catching passes there? I guarantee you it's not Nate Borkature.
I told you this story. The upside of TJ Hockenson is just what we saw with Javonte Williams. Nasty. So TJ Hockenson had a nasty ACL injury. That season, by the way, in 15 games, his last healthy season, 95 catches. That was the first year with the Vikings. Okay. then comes back early next year, comes back week 8 the next year, probably earlier than he should have, has never been the same since. So that was 23, the injury happened. 24, he came back early, and last year was his first healthy season. He looked awful. We've all seen that awful ghost route he ran. He just juked himself out. But you know what? I don't need him to be good. Hey, I need him to be Jake Ferguson or Dalton Schultz. That's what I need him to be.
You've seen signs, right?
Yeah, of course.
When Mel Gibson runs out of the house, he's like, I'm insane with anger.
Yeah.
That was TJ Hawkinson.
Exactly. And I don't need him to be good. I know Kyler Murray really targets his tight ends. I know Kyler Murray can't see. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. What are you talking about? Trey McBride, brother?
McBride was super productive while Jacoby Brissett was throwing the ball a million times a game.
I'm talking about 2024 Trey McBride.
He was fine. He didn't catch any touchdowns.
He had like 90 catches though.
Okay.
All right. I mean,
we're gonna disagree on this.
22.
I do not see the upside here. Like sometimes Father Time comes fast and hard, and I feel like
Storey, who's the tight end whisperer on the show?
Okay, you said Tucker Kraft, and I said Tyler Warren.
Yeah. No, it's not just that. I've had a pretty long history of identifying these late guys. And, this is a late guy. And this is a boring name. It's one of these things where he should be going tight end 17, but everyone has just written TJ Hawkinson off. I love drafting guys that are just been written off. You know what the depth chart is, though? Who's the second tight end? Sorry.
It could also be a pretty boring offense versus Jacksonville, which we've seen is an ascending offense with Liam Cohen there.
Who's the second tight end there in Minnesota? I'll tell you the answer. You probably don't know it. It's Josh Oliver.
Oh, Josh Oliver. He's been there forever.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, he's going to be on the field a lot. Like, it's not an upside shot. He's tight end 22. I think he's going to be a top 12 guy. I think top 10 guy in full PPR. It's got to be full PPR, though. Get that face. Okay, we can agree to disagree. And I think I'm the only one in the world that's high on TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, probably. Other than
it just seems like easy money, dude. It just seems like easy money. Josh Oliver is for blocking. That is very accurate. Let's get to a couple comments before Mr. Storey goes. I got to go to the bathroom, so I'll get a comment here for you, and then you can answer it. Dakota says, so let's talk a little dynasty real quick. Dakota says, Storey, I'm playing for the first pick in 2027, so you guys have a chance to win this season. Is that the only reason we have a chance to win? Because Dakota's start was all-time epic in a dynasty PPR.
It was good. First overall pick, Dakota, I'm interested. Rob and I have talked about the 27 draft class. It looks like it's shaping up to be an incredible draft class. You got multiple quarterbacks, multiple wide receivers, potentially multiple actually it's a pretty weak tight end class, but multiple running backs. It depends. Like Ahmad Hardy, we hopes and prayers that he comes back healthy. He got shot not that long ago, so that's not ideal. But yeah, like the big question is who becomes the number 1 overall pick? Is it Arch Manning? Is it Dante Moore? Dante Moore would have been the number 2 pick this year if he didn't go back into school. Trinidad Chambliss has an opportunity to come back this year and actually put some huge numbers up. Like this 27 draft class is shaping up to be an all-time class.
Jeremiah Smith, baby. Julio Jones 2.0. I think.
Dude, Jeremiah Smith might be the number 1 skill position player, and he might be drafted at 2 overall. It's possible.
You ever had this before? Sam Adams winter lager?
Yeah, I like the winter lager. What were you drinking earlier? It was dark. You don't really drink a lot of
That's what I'm drinking. It's 2 years old. It expired 2 years ago. I'm still drinking it though. Yeah, it was at my my father-in-law's. He didn't like it, and he's like, I think it's like 6 months old. I look at it, it's 2 years old. There's no floaties though. It's a little stale, but when you're poor like me and you're struggling on YouTube to you're happy making $8. So
what does it mean for expired beer? Like beer doesn't really expire, does it?
It doesn't go bad, but it gets gross. Like after 6 months, you start tasting it. Every 6 months after that, it really gets gross. And if it's like an IPA, you can't drink in 2 years old. They get floaties in them. And all right. Hetra says, give Malik Willis, Debo, or Diggs or some shit. Well, they're not trying to win this year, so they're not going to give him anything because they want to lose.
Also, Debo is pretty toast. Diggs, though, I'm interested to see what Diggs does this year. He has every opportunity to come back and play for a contender. He's talked about coming back to New England. Like, the Chiefs might be interested. Also, we didn't talk about this, but the Rashee Rice situation, that has kind of changed the calculus on A.J. Brown going to New England. right? Like they might, because originally they didn't want to give a first round pick, and now it's possible that the Chiefs have thrown their hat in the ring to because they might need him.
That's really good news for the Eagles. They're happy about that whole situation.
Of course, it's good for the Eagles.
Maybe someone gave Rasheed Rice some secondhand weed smoke from the Eagles.
Interesting.
Yeah, a little frame job. Maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe a running back that wants to go to a better spot strangled Josh Jacobs' girlfriend or something. What do we know? It was his girlfriend or it was just an acquaintance? Like, what was this? It wasn't a Puka situation, right?
I haven't read the actual indictment yet, so I don't know. I'm hoping that becomes public tomorrow, and I can read the indictment and find out exactly what's going on.
Yeah, well, keep you updated on all these things, gentlemen, because it's what we do here on every single night. Junk thinks that Claiborne could get some run this year, and I don't know. I feel like they're a contending team, or at least they think they're a contending team, and they're going to give themselves every chance to win. And Claiborne, I don't know. You liked him more than me coming out of Wake Forest. I think he's fine. I think he's tiny. I didn't like his pass catching for his size. It was underwhelming.
Yeah, he's also a super late draft pick, right? 6th round or whatever. Like, there's not a whole lot tying him to the organization. So he's fast though.
But hold on, a 6th round running back in this class is like a 4th round running back in most classes because this class was terrible and no one drafted running backs.
I mean, if he can get out of the field, like his speed should allow him to make some plays. It's just a matter of getting on the field. That's going to be the tough part.
You think Addison's in a prime spot? We said we liked him in the slot, especially with Jennings coming over. We need to make sure Addison's playing in 2 wide receiver sets. That's going to be the big question because Jennings is an elite blocker. But it is a contract year for Addison, and he knows he can't stay out of trouble. So he's like, I better get this contract, at least get 1 good year left of this new contract to get, the bonus and shit like that, because he's probably going to get arrested again for doing something stupid.
God, we hope not, but it's possible.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to happen. It's just, what would you bet? Would you bet? I'll give you a 5-year window over under Jordan Addison arrest 0.5. Are you going to go over or under?
5 years? I got to go over. God, I hate to say it, but I got to go over.
It's not good. We've both been arrested 0 times.
God, knock on wood, man.
Correction. I got arrested when I was 15, but I was 15 and I was drinking underage and the charges got dropped. So does that count as being arrested?
Did you get arraigned? Did you get fingerprinted? All that kind of stuff?
No. I got fingerprinted, but no arraignment, and I wasn't in the paper because I was 15. So, is it a half arrest? So that would be a push. That's a push. It's a half arrest.
Like technically, if you were detained and moved to another spot, then you were arrested.
Yeah, I guess I was. Hell yeah, I'm a badass, bro. Jordan Addison, making Jordan Addison proud. Dakota, would you trade Gibbs for Brian Thomas and Marvin Harrison in full PPR dynasty? That's a question because he has Brian Thomas and Marvin Harrison. We have Gibbs.
No, not a shot in hell.
It would probably have to be Gibbs and it would have to be. We would do it for Marv. We would do it for Marv. Would you do this? Gibbs and Laporta for Marvin Harrison and Bowers. Now we're getting somewhere.
Throw that one in there, didn't you? If you gave me a 27-second back, then yeah, I'd probably do that.
Are you listening, Dakota? We're working out on air, buddy. Yeah, so that makes sense actually, because Gibbs is in my mind, the number 1 player in fantasy this year, and in your mind, the number 2 fantasy player. Marv still has question marks. Bowers is amazing. It was an awesome pick. So that Gibbs and Bowers are kind of close, and Marv and Laporta are kind of close. Honestly, I know you drafted Marv higher because it's wide receiver, but yeah, I would lean just having the best player in the deal. Maybe a 3rd rounder we consider. We prefer a 2nd rounder, I guess. Is the
yeah. I mean, it does drop.
Or a
off.
2nd rounder in 28. Give us a 2nd rounder in 28 and call it a deal.
20 class.
He's old and firm.
Yeah.
So DM us in the chat, Dakota, in Dynasty League, and we can work something out if you want. We're not looking to trade Gibbs, but you know what? We would love Bowers.
Hey, if the price is right, I'll trade anybody. I'll move my wife if the price is right.
I will trade Storey from this program for Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers as a fantasy asset, or Brock Bowers coming on here talking fantasy?
No, his hairline, your hairline's so much better than his. He has terrible hair.
But him and what was the other Raiders guy? The little slot guy?
Oh God, the China route guy.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfrow.
Renfrow. Yeah.
Terrible. No, I wouldn't even do that trade anyway because the first place in Dynasty League is $800, and we're splitting it. And I also had to pay in, like I mentioned, I paid in Blake, which is well deserved for Blake. Shut up, Blake, who is the media manager of this channel. I'm not going to trade you, who is a big part of that. I'm only going to make it if I have you in terms of make it with this channel and make this thing a thing. You're a big part of it, Storey. You know you are. Maybe
Brock Bowers is an awesome on-air talent. We don't know yet.
I don't want to look at him. Kind of ugly. Here we go. Is Ted McMillan's stock going down now with the foot injury, likely missing 2 weeks? I am not worried about it. If it was 2 months, I would probably be a little bit concerned, but we are still about 4 months out from the season, right? Is it 4 months? 3.5 months. 3.5 months.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it right now. We got super worried about Stafford last year, and in turn, we get worried about Puka and Devontae Adams. We got worried about who else was it last year that got dinged up early on in the season? It doesn't matter. Like the things I'm concerned about are the guys that are supposed to be on schedule and are not. Your Bucky Irving, your Malik Neighbors. When we're going to get more reports on Patrick Mahomes, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But no, this one I'm not worried about whatsoever.
Are you taking Big Boo over Higgins? So T. Higgins and yeah, that's a tough one. This is redraft. That's a tough one.
Close. But man, in PPR, I'm taking Igbuka over Higgins.
Nope, not me. I'm taking Joe Burrow's second target in a. There's no one else there. They have like, dude, Yoshi Bosch is awful. They don't have a tight end. They only have Chase Brown in the running game. Like, I get Igbuka in PPR. You mentioned he has more of a, maybe 90 catch ceiling. Would you say where Higgins is more of the 70, 75 catches? But I mean, I get Igbuka was catching a lot of touchdowns early in the year, but like. T. Higgins is a 10 touchdown receiver every year he's healthy, and he just never plays every game.
Right. I'm in PPR. I'm still taking Igbuka. He's got every opportunity to kind of seize that all over the field motion guy, and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to take.
Would you agree that Higgins is the better floor play though, even though the injury history, knowing what you have there? Because we like the fact they're going to use him at Z. They say. Mike Evans is gone. I understand all that. I like Baker's not a slouch at quarterback. He's a chucker.
Right.
But I think T. Higgins is the floor play. We know what we have in T. Higgins. We have a top 15 receiver when he's healthy per game.
Right. Yes.
But I think the upside's with Higgins too, because he has 12 touchdown potential. Like Joe Burrow, if Joe Burrow throws, let's just do this exercise real quick. What are the chances that Joe Burrow throws 40 passing touchdowns? Let's just assume he's healthy. It's another if Joe Burrow's health. What are the chances 40? that 40?
Probably 40%.
That's really high. So what are the chances that Jamar Chase catches 20?
20 touchdowns?
Exactly. Low.
I don't know. 3%?
Let's give Jamar Chase 15 touchdowns. That leaves 25 touchdowns. This is in the universe we're creating. That gives 25 touchdowns available. Like T. Higgins is catching how many in this situation? 13? 8. So there's 23. So where are the other 17 touchdowns going?
Probably Chase Brown, Tyler Eifert, Yoshi Vaz.
Tyler Eifert. You mean Mike Gesicki?
Yeah, sorry, Gesicki. Tyler Eifert. Wow, that's a throwback. Holy cow,
bro! If Joe Burrow throws 40 touchdowns, T. Higgins is catching 12. I mean, that's just there's no other way to put. Like, what are you talking about? You're crazy.
No, that's fair. I get. Okay, you're right. No, you're right. You're right.
So I feel like T. Higgins' floor, if they both stay, I know there's a lot of ifs, right? But like Igbuka, there's ifs too. Is Igbuka actually good? I know T. Higgins is pretty damn good at football.
We know T. Higgins is good.
I don't know Igbuka is good.
But you've got 2 injury outs with Igbuka, with Higgins and Burrow, right? Burrow has trouble staying healthy. Higgins has trouble staying healthy. So it's kind of.
Dakota says, I sent the picture and we had our pints. This is the funniest comment ever. When you're out dining and drinking $8 pints, you are far from poor. They were $2 beers. They were $4. They were $4 light beers, half off. And Mr. Storey treated me to my 2 beers. I didn't eat out. I try to eat. I only eat out with my wife. I have all this leftover food. So, and technically it was $4 for the beer. It was awesome. You had 3 beers though, so you outdrank me.
I did have 3 beers. I feel like
I was drinking and golfing all day. So
also these were pints, like $2 for a beer. That doesn't exist anymore. This place, I'm glad we stumbled on this. Their specials are awesome. Like I'm looking forward to.
We're gonna go there. We're on Tuesday. We're gonna go play trivia with the wives.
I talked to my wife. She's in. She's good.
Yes. Okay. Jonathan, going to be hard to get the first overall 27 pick with all those beast wide receivers you have, Dakota, and it's based on overall points, bench, and starters, I believe. Yeah, well, he also has Mouse first pick in 27, so he has like other first round picks, so he has a lot of options at it. Chris Brazzle, someone picked Chris Brazzle. Is that for real? Someone must have picked Chris Brazzle. Sorry if any of you guys are just tuning in. We are in a dynasty startup with the community here, and is this right? It's paused, so no, I don't think they did. Unless I'm missing this.
No, it's paused.
Okay. Good.
Last pick
that
was
would be
Cody
nuts.
Marks, which is not a bad pick. Actually, the pick before that, Ja'Cory Crossing-Merritt, that's a good pick there in the 11th round.
Dakota said he threw up when he heard Bowers mentioned, so that's not going to happen. I mean, well, you're trying to get Jahmyr Gibbs. We're not going to give away Jahmyr Gibbs in a dynasty startup. He's the best running back. He's, in my mind, the best fantasy running back in football. Bijan's the best real running back, but it's 1A, 1B, whatever. Like, he's 25 years old or 24 years old, whatever. He's young as fuck. So make a deal with Jonathan. Jonathan has 50 running backs. Literally, he does.
Jonathan's got a ton of running backs to trade.
Mao says Chase for Gibbs and Storey. So he wants Gibbs for Chase, and he also wants you. So you got to go to Downtown Sports. You're not on the program anymore.
Do I have to live in New York?
No, they do it virtual. Junk Budget said China Route guy is spot on. That's when we were talking about Hunter Renfrow, and I was like, oh, the China Route guy. He made that famous. Hey, yeah, Hunter Renfrow had 2 awesome years, dude.
He did have 2 awesome years. Like as a PPR merchant, that guy was on top of it.
Ooh, Peasy says, how about Mahomes back at practice looking good? Well, we like to hear that story. We are very tied to the Chiefs in the Dynasty League.
We are tied to the Chiefs. I have
Kenneth Walker, Xavier Worthy, Patrick Mahomes. Let's go.
I've been bearish on the Chiefs, and especially Patrick Mahomes, but if he's back at practice, God, that's wild. If Duke could have a massive knee injury in December and he's back at practice in May. That is
Adrian Peterson won the MVP 8 months after suffering an ACL. Like, I mean,
well, yes and no.
At age 29. I mean, come on. Like
Lamar Jackson's back too, so there's that.
I think we all underestimate. I think that everyone just thinks Patrick Mahomes sucks. We underestimate that he is actually a world-class athlete. I know he looks kind of fat, but Patrick Mahomes didn't get to this point by being average. It's not Andy Reid. It's not Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes is fucking great, dude.
I think we underestimate modern medicine. Like they're talking about George Kittle possibly being ready. No, I don't think that's
exactly. No, I don't think so. I told you from day one. I said Mahomes is playing week 1, and you said no. And I think that now that we have him in Dynasty, you want me to be right on this one. It's good for the NFL too. Amon-Ra St. Brown over CMC this year. The Lions players getting a premium on them. Lions are kind of devalued, if you ask me, and I'm taking in full PPR. I guess it doesn't really matter because CMC catches so many passes and is a running back. I'm taking. I don't know, man. The upside shot CMC. It's not even close, but there's so much more risk. St. Brown doesn't miss any games. He's younger.
Yeah.
There's no questions in that offense. There's some real questions with the Niners offense just based on the age of these guys, right? George Kittle coming off injury, old.
He should be healthy again. My God, that one is really close. I think I would go Amon-Ra. I want to get myself tied to the offense. I think is going to be better.
You know what? I'm going to go Amon-Ra because I love the running backs in the second round better, right? I can get Kenneth Walker. I can get Saquon Barkley. I can get a Marion Hampton. I'm going to have to
end of the second round.
Yeah, and I'll just reach on him for pick. I'm just saying the running backs available in the second round, like Drake London will maybe be there, but I'm going to trust after that, it's like Nico Collins and guys like that. And I love Nico Collins, but I guess it's like this. Would you rather have CMC and Nico Collins or St. Brown and Saquon? Well, let's take Saquon out of this because he probably won't be there. Let's say St. Brown and Kenneth Walker, or would you rather have CMC and Nico Collins?
St. Brown and Kenneth Walker.
There we go. Well, see, little exercises we do here, and sometimes it's good. It's funny. GT says only eat out with my wife, my guy. When you're married so long, it's too much information. She's not really in on me going down south, and I'm all for it. I'll do it, and it's very, very flavorful in a good way. It actually doesn't taste like anything at all, which is a good thing. And I'll move on here. So, Jonathan says someone in the chat mentioned Brazzle has more ceiling than Coker if Tet misses time. Chris Brazzell is the worst. He sucks. He's a Tennessee receiver. He's a knucklehead. He has bad body language. He also has off the field smoke, and that means two things. So Jalen Coker's awesome. Like Chris Brazzell's terrible. That's just, and especially this year as a rookie, he's a raw prospect.
I'm not in as on Jalen Coker as a lot of people are, but he's better than Chris Brazzell. I don't think there's any question there.
CMC went to Germany and got new legs in 24. He's fine for 3 more years. CMC forgot of football.
So his running efficiency took a dip last year. He was not as effective.
It was more than a dip, Story. It was awful. Like, it was bad. Yeah, it was bad. Have you ever seen a running back in a Kyle Shanahan system average under 4.8 yards a carry? It doesn't happen. It's never happened. He averaged under 4 yards a carry, right?
The problem with saying, like, Kyle Shanahan system and Sean McVay system now, like, there's so many coaches that have been part of those systems that, like, everybody's part of the systems now. Like, so what are we realistically hoping to accomplish?
I'm saying actually under Kyle Shanahan, average under 4.8 yards a carry. Jordan Mason averaged almost 5.5.
That's why I'm really interested to see who wins the backup job in San Francisco. I can't trust CMC to stay healthy.
Kalen Black. No, and we can't trust Kyle Shanahan to give work to somebody else either. He says it every year. He literally says it every year. He's Tom Thibodeau. That's what I said. He's the Tom Thibodeau of the NFL.
The guy who is the number 2 there, there's tons of value from an injury upside.
So everyone's saying, and I do agree, the offensive line was awful last year. Trent Williams in and out of the lineup, and it just wasn't a good unit. But I'm more going off eye test Story, and it was not great. And it was mostly on, he's so elite as a receiver, not just because his hands, because it's his instincts. We always would talk about how is Travis Kelce finding this little spot in the zone? How is Travis Kelce open in his prime? How is he always open? CMC has that Travis Kelce thing, right? Where it's just like his football IQ is so good, and even what he's lost in athleticism, he's even gained in IQ. Yeah. But how do you think he has 3 more years in him? And I'm not saying he won't play 3 years. I'm saying 3 more years of he's clearly on the decline. Saquon Barkley's on the decline. Like these guys, Derrick Henry's the only one that is subhuman. CMC is a regular dude. Like he has got the most out of his football talent, which is elite.
I think it's going to be diminishing returns, but it won't be a real cliff, but it'll just be a little like steady drop off for CMC.
You think 3 more years as an RB1?
How old is he? 29?
He's going to be 30, I think.
30? Okay.
I can check right now.
2 years as an RB1, 2 years.
No, he's 30. He's already 30, so he just turned 30.
Oh God, that's tough. Probably 2 years as an RB1 and a year as an RB2, and then it's done. Because the volume, you just cannot take that many like hits and just expect to be an RB1 every single year.
Was Barkley on the decline? You can't have 2K rushing every season. Well, it's hard to say Barkley's on the decline, and I did say that. The film, like last year, the scheme was really bad, but Barkley wasn't great either. But I think the Barkley thing was also fresh off that insane touch season, the 2K season, also in the Super Bowl run. That was a lot on his body. And I think this year he'll be fresher, but I'm not speaking of the like this year. I think they're both fine. I obviously, I love Barkley. I still love CMC. I'm looking at 2028 for Barkley and CMC. You're going to see it then. Because they're going to both have big workloads again this year if they stay healthy. Like that's just too much. It's just too much. And I trust Barkley is a much more elite athlete than CMC. Do you agree with that? Just in terms of athletic prowess, Barkley's a freak. He's 235 pounds, dude.
Barkley was like a superior athlete. I'm not so sure like that's the case now. It's tough to say. I agree. Like Father Time is undefeated. It's going to catch up to all these guys, and it comes really fast, especially for running backs. When you're talking about guys are getting hit, especially like Barkley 500 times a season, realistically, like.
Mouth, is this I know you're better than that, but like, how we all are with our fantasy players, like Dynasty League, especially, like, is this a CMC is on my Dynasty team and I want this to be true? Or is this an actual, what you actually feel? Because like, you know what I'm saying with this? Like we all kind of do this with our players and like, they're our family, bro. And especially Dynasty. So.
Yeah, I don't necessarily subscribe to the philosophy or the idea that like hits are cumulative because I don't know that other than the brain, which it's been proven that like concussions are cumulative. It's more about just age. Like your body just doesn't bounce back as fast. Your body cannot repair itself as fast. So I don't know that there seems to be something to the effect of if you did have 450, 500 touches the previous year, you're going to take a dip in efficiency. It's all a very small sample because how many guys over the course of the NFL have had 500 touches over the course of a season? You know what I mean? 450 touches. So it's difficult to kind of take real actionable advice from that. I just think like these guys get older. You know what? I know it. Mouth knows it. Like we get older. What a hangover is like. You don't bounce back as quickly. When you're in your 20s, you wake up, you have a hangover, you pop a couple of Advil, and you go to work. Nowadays, hangovers are a full day experience. You know what I mean?
No, that's just because you're a pussy. I'm good.
That's because your tolerance is unlike anybody that I've ever met.
That's like you calling me an alcoholic, though.
Yeah, but you can be functional being alcoholic.
Thank you. Now I'm a functioning alcoholic. I appreciate that. Hey, you drank more than me at the bar today. I wasn't saying CMC isn't an elite athlete. He's an all-time athlete. But in the chat, give me your answer. Coming out of college, in their prime, better athlete. Not better player, better athlete. CMC or Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, I mean, better prospect. It's Saquon Barkley. Like, out of Stanford, like, I get what people saw in CMC, but it took him a couple of years to actually become the CMC that we know and love today.
I'm going with size speed of Barkley is something we haven't seen. And clearly CMC is a better pass catcher than Barkley. Like Barkley had that really good rookie year of a bunch of receptions, a couple other years with Daniel Jones, who checks the fuck out of the ball, checks down the ball. Barkley's hands are a little suspect. His route running is like CMC is a wide receiver out there. I get that. Like CMC is probably a better football player than Saquon Barkley. But in terms of athlete, like Saquon Barkley is an all-time athlete. It was an all-time athlete. CMC is an elite athlete. Like he's very good. Like the 10th percentile, I'd say. I think Barkley is the 1%. I really do.
Yeah.
Or he was, right?
He's up there. It's like we have to call our shots on these guys because Father Time comes fast and hard for these guys, except for Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry. But but yeah, like the question is the slow burn on Christian McCaffrey, was that just efficiency? Was it the scheme? Was it the offense? Or did age catch up to him? Now he's less efficient. Barkley, was it the function of the number of touches he had in the 2024 season? Was it the offense? Was it him? Like, we don't know. You got to call your shots on these guys, and it's very difficult in Dynasty especially.
Mouth doesn't appreciate our argument. It's like the argument between these two is like guys like splitting hairs. It's so insane. Doing the best we can, man. I don't know what to tell you. Giving you our real takes. So also it's a really gray area conversation. It's not like there's no real fact here, right? It's opinion. Like who's a better athlete?
All opinion. Yeah. Who's a better athlete? What does that actually mean for the course of the NFL and their entire career?
Who's more handsome between me and Storey? That's an opinion, but you're gonna say yourself. I'm gonna say me. Who is my wife gonna say? You.
Probably me.
Yeah. Who's your wife gonna say?
Probably me.
So you just get everyone?
Well, let's see what Mouth says. He's the ultimate.
Yeah,
story.
Mouth. Who's the answer? What's the answer, Mouth? Who's better looking?
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell or Ben Roethlisberger? The answer's Kevin O'Connell. God damn it. And we figured out Nick O is Kevin Stefanski.
We did. Yeah,
we figured out. You know who Chaz could be? Chaz can be Mike McDaniel.
Ooh, okay. He's just got to start wearing some waders, right?
Yeah. Henry is 90. Would you agree that Henry is 90% of his prime self? Tennessee prime, or is that too aggressive?
There was no drop off last year in his efficiency. Like that's what you have to look at.
I test though. What do you think? Like he's lost a little bit, but
maybe half a step. But I don't know, man. He looked pretty damn good last year.
So 90%. That's insane because he's had a lot of workload, and he's
Yeah. And again, I don't know if the workload is cumulative. Like He's literally a freak athlete. He's an outlier.
Mouse answer was my shirtless pick answers that. So I think Mouse throwing himself in the ring now. So now we have a 3-way battle. We got to all send shirtless picks and then we'll figure out who's better. I don't want to send a shirtless pick. Mine's going to be like that angle that like chubbier chicks send on dating profiles where it's from above and you don't get to actually see the whole thing. I did send it in the fantasy chat. I sent you that with me wearing my with Erica's like bathing suit top, her bikini top. I was wearing that. So
Yeah.
You saw that. You guys think I'm going to get Storey out of here after this question and we'll do a draft. You guys earned it. Appreciate you, Mouth, Jonathan, everyone else. Actually, no, Jonathan didn't help contribute. So sorry, Jonathan. I'm not saying you. I'm just kidding. You guys think it would be crazy to go CMC at 3? Yeah, that's insane. No, don't do that. Right? It's Jamar Chase, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's Bijan Robinson. So that's crazy.
What about in a standard?
In a standard, I'm still taking the 2 run. I'm taking Jonathan Taylor over CMC in standard. The hell? Like, look at the rushing totals, man. Like this year, I already looked at the early Vegas line. CMC is at 925. Jonathan Taylor's at like 1300. That's their Vegas line. Like it's standard. Give me the running back. Jonathan Taylor is probably still at 10.5. McCaffrey total touchdowns is probably at 12.5. But JT
I'm just trying to think of like how you could massage it to take CMC. It is a gutsy call. You need CMC to have like a 2023 season.
Dude, don't throw in. No one plays standard, dude. So that's just like in half PPR. We're talking PPR though, and CMC is actually better in PPR because you're getting the 95 catches. I'm just kidding, Jonathan. I'm just fucking with you, dude. I've been fucking with Storey. So is it 3 insane? What do you think? Like, I think it's insane. I think 5's insane for CMC. Like, I'm not taking over JSN. I don't even like JSN, but
even like half, it's still Chase, Puka, and JSN, right? Like,
we are mad about your Coker pick. Jaden Reed and Coker were the 2 guys we needed and wanted.
God damn.
It's all right. Hey, we'll be all right. We'll be okay.
No, that Coker pick. Like, that Coker pick, and I tell you what, that Jaden Reed pick, that
You know what this has the makings of, Storey, with our Xavier Worthy pick ahead of those guys, and you wanted Jaden Reed. This has the makings of our Travion Henderson pick in the fantasy playoff league. You know what I mean? It's like we look back and we're like, our team's great. You know, maybe we finished a little short, and we took Xavier Worthy because he's 23 and he's tied to Mahomes and the Rasheed Rice stuff and all that, and the draft capital with Xavier Worthy and the speed. And he's just continuing. We all know he's bad at football. He has been bad at football. I'm not saying I think Xavier Worthy's gonna be good at football. I think he could become Jamison Williams, and he's freakier than Jamison Williams, right? Like he is more athletic. He's faster.
We are hoping that the last year was a direct function of the shoulder injury he sustained, because apparently neither him nor Travis Kelce can know how to run around.
You know what? I just hope that they can. They have to use him in a gadgety role, like still some downfield stuff, but he can't get his feet in or track the ball. Just a problem for a wide receiver. But if end around stuff we saw his rookie year, Xavier Worthy is the fastest player in the NFL. I mean, that's not, you can't debate that. That's just factual evidence. You mix that with being tied to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. If he gets back to his form, like he should score 8 touchdowns a year just based on speed alone. He should. We saw McCole Hardman have some good years there. McCole Hardman's also terrible.
You did mention end arounds. Like, he is one of the few guys in the NFL that actually gets touches out of the backfield, right? Like,
yeah, we're just hoping. Let's just hope that stupid ass Travis Kelce injury, which was hilarious to watch, by the way, just wrecking him.
He threw he bounced off him like it was a bouncy castle. Like, he bounced back 10 yards. It was wild.
Let's just hope that was a big. It's not going to make him better. Like, he was bad at football in general, but like that was a big setback for his career, right? That's what we're hoping. And I feel like the upside is worth it.
With one of those braces on his shoulder last year, like he should have just taken the first 5 weeks off after that.
We're really trying to talk ourselves into this worthy selection. Like that it's fine. We're just
it's fine. It's fine.
All right. It's worth it, I feel like. And anyways, sorry, hell of a show as always. Must watch TV, as my dad says. I always like to butter you up because you are the man. I'm going to do a draft with these fine fellas. Get some sleep, get some rest. And Thursday, tune into Thursday's show, 10 p.m. Central. We're going to go the AFC North, and we're going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers and then the average-ass Steelers, right?
So much fun stuff to talk about. I love talking about Aaron Rodgers. That's my favorite thing to talk about.
All right. See you later, buddy. Later. All right. We're going to set up this draft here in a second. Mouth is loving the way this is turning out. I will say this, Mouth. Early on, the trades were not great. You've made some better ones, and you've made some good picks. And I even said, even if it was bad coming out of the draft, even without your capital or future picks, I did say that I trust, you're a savvy dude. You're a quick study, and I do believe that you're going to make it work. You're going to try harder than most, and you know more than most. You know ball, and, ball doesn't always translate to fantasy, but you're going to learn that aspect as well. So, and your team is better than I thought it would be, right? Especially with the capital you had. And it's going to be awesome to watch because I like a lot of teams. There's a lot of good teams in this league, and it's going to be, I think a lot of people are going to pay attention, which is huge. So Jonathan likes Coker over Reed. Coker has more of a defined role. And I like both players similar. I think they're both pretty good players, right? Coker's going to be on the field all the time, where Reed won't. If Reed is the wide receiver 2 there, I like Reed well over Jalen Coker just because Bryce Young versus Jordan Love, right? That's the difference. All right, let's get this. All right. Oh, yeah, we all like Coke. Okay, I have to set up my phone here let me get my Wi-Fi on. We're going to do an underdog. We're going to do a super flex, guys. I want to finish that term off while it's still up there because I have been digging it. They did pay Reed, but they didn't pay him a lot of money, though, Mouth. It was 3 years, $50 million. That comes out to, $17 million a year. Decent money, but with the wide receiver market, I'm not factoring the payment in there at all because I could also say that I prefer Matthew Golden because he has first-round draft capital, right? So we can make those arguments, but we don't know. I mentioned a story about my concern with how Green Bay operates, and this is pretty much documented. They don't trust Jaden Reed, his body, and they don't think he's a true worthy to play outside for real, and then also not able to play in 3 wide receiver sets. So until that changes, I think it should change. It should have changed years ago. This year, I think it will change. And also, technically, he is their RB1 now. So he's already usually good for 3 to 4 snaps out of the backfield. That number, depending on who they bring in, it probably will go up to 5 to 6, which that's valuable. That is literally 80 snaps out of the backfield. And it's not, they don't use them like a Debo, but they could start doing that. And also just those design little, swing passes. That's just free points for a wide receiver. So I do love that. And we wanted Jaden Reed. Storey wanted to take Jaden Reed over Worthy, and I talked him into Worthy. And hopefully he doesn't kill me for that because God damn it. All right, I'm going to play a clip here while I hook this up, and then we'll all get into the field general, guys. So give me about a minute to hook this up, and then we will be ready to go. Let me find, let's see, do I have a long clip here? I have to have something, right? I have something. I always have something. Let's see, where's it at? I'm looking for, it's not a long one. I didn't delete it, did I? There we go. All right, give me a minute.
Jay Quellen. No Jay Quellen here?
Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be. Balake. Where is Balake at? Yes, sir.
My name's Blake.
Are you out of your goddamn mind? Do you want to go to war, Balake?
No.
D Nice. Is there a D Nice?
Do you mean Denise?
Son of a bitch! Ron. Where are you? Where is Ron right now?
Here.
I said it like 4 times, so why didn't you say it the first time I said Ron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
Son of a bitch!
All right, gentlemen. Let me know who's all down to do this. Let me know in the chat, and then we will join together. Usually the field general is not the most. I like to do that one too because it's less active and we have more time to get everybody in there. So let me know who's down. I know Mouth's down. Whoever else is in. Jonathan, if you want to join in. I don't know if Dakota's in here, Junk Buster, whoever else is in here. You want to hop on in. Let's get it done. I'm not joining yet. I'm just clicking on it. Field General, 20 seconds per pick. We have Superflex, $3. So mouse in. All right, let's go. I'm joining, boys. 3 more to start. Hop on in now. Mouth is in. 3 more to start. Two more to start. We got 2 spots left. Whoever wants in, and get on in, draft with us, do draft grades at the end of this. This is probably it for me. We'll see. Put one more goal up there if we meet it. I'm going to have to do it because that's what I'm a man of my word. Pretty fried, but I'm always down to draft. Oh, I played 36 holes today. Met Storey, had a couple pops at the bar. Long weekend, but what else do I got to do? Sleep's overrated. Sleep is overrated. Yes, it is. All right. Sweet. Still have almost a half beer here. Money. Shout out to my father-in-law for these free 2-year-old beers. He's Sam Adams. We always like free beer. We like free shit. I think everyone, it's a human nature. Like sporting events, you see those clowns fighting and dropping their babies over those oversized, terrible T-shirts they shoot out in the gun. They're terrible shirts that don't even fit. People love it. GT, it is a super flex. You got to hurry. 1 left. Super flex. Field General. It's called the Field General. $3. Hurry, GT. 1 left. Hurry. Field General. You could be the last one in here, GT. I'm rooting for him. Dude. Still 1 left. Still got 1 left, brother. We'll see if he's getting in. Anyone else? First come, first serve. Field General, Super Flex, $3 underdog tournament. I think it's the only $3 tournament they have. Well, he's got time. He's had a minute, so I think he should be able to get in. Still has 1 left. Right? I'm in a slow draft too. Yeah. All right, there we go. Is this GT? What is your name, GT, if you're in here? And they got other $3 ones now. Sweet. We are picking at 6. I don't hate 6. I actually kind of like 6. And we have Mouth at 10. Oh, GT is in here at 11. Picking right next to Mouth. It's just us 3, I think, that I know of. So Dog Pound has first. All right. GT, how many have you done? Have you been doing some? Or are you coming in like blind? I think you've been on some of the streams, but I haven't seen you much recently. So just snipe all mouse guys for me if you could. We like that. Snipe mouse guys. What? In the butt? Why do I still have Vikings preview up here? Let's get this off. An awful preview. Good show, though. Shout out to Mike Storey for being one of the best in the business. Looking pretty cute, too. He's got his shirts. I tried to give him a hat, but he doesn't like fucking up his hair. Hats look weird on him. So Josh Allen off at 1. It should be probably Lamar Jackson next. And then there goes Bijan. So I don't mind getting Gibbs here if he does fall. Nope, and Gibbs is gone. So we're going to queue the quarterbacks up. And I'll take Jaden Daniels if that's what it comes to. There goes Lamar. Lamar at 4 is super tasty. He's on 3. All right, GT. Well, stick around after the show or after the draft. We'll do draft grades as we always do on this program. Ooh, someone took Jaden Daniels. I'm getting a Joey B. Joe Burrow. Kind of like that. Joe Burrow at 6. That's cool. So again, if you're just tuning in, it's me, Mouth, and GT from the community in here. Mouth at 10, GT at 11. I am at 6. Keep on getting your questions in. I will answer them as I have time and in order. So when I'm not picking, you got me. Full time here. Drake May at 7. Jamar Chase falls to 8. Jalen Hurts at 9. Let's see what Mouth's taking here. I can probably guess he takes Puka. That's a good pick. Setting himself up for some Matt Stafford love. Matt Stafford's still going pretty goddamn low, man. Matt Stafford is all the way down here at quarterback 16. Pretty wild stuff, man. Pretty wild stuff, Matt Stafford at quarterback 16. I don't know what the concern is. Did you guys read the report that Matt Stafford, we all knew about the back injury, and that's why I kind of faded Puka last year, because Matt Stafford's back injury. Luckily, I was actually drafting Stafford because how late he went. He was like quarterback 22 or some shit. But I wasn't drafting Puka, and the report came out that they were actually really close to starting Matt Stafford on the PUP or on the injured list to start the year. So that's how it actually wasn't good. And essentially, he's just like, screw it, I'm going to go out there and see how it goes. And it felt okay, and then he just like played himself back into health by like week 2, week 3. So, you know, it sucks that I didn't have Puka last year really at all. I had 35 leagues and zero Puka. But it was for the right reasons, and Puka would have been fine with the backup with Garoppolo. Was it Garoppolo last year? Whoever it was. But it wouldn't be Matt Stafford, right? So we were right to be concerned. It wasn't a bullshit report, but it just ended up working out great. There goes Prescott. Mouth with McCaffrey and Puka. We have, I'm not taking any of these quarterbacks. Cook. We could try to take St. Brown. There's no way I'm getting Jared Goff. There is a way, I think, but let's see here. I can't even take fucking Jared Goff. They have the same bye. So let's take Patrick Mahomes. Think he's ready to start the year. We're going to take Patrick Mahomes. I don't like going quarterback. But it allows us to be really flexible. If I get a value on a third quarterback, I'll just jump on that. If not, we'll just roll with 2 quarterbacks or take a late bomb late, like a shitty rookie, a Carson back or something like that. And then it's got to hope that, these teams should take quarterbacks that have Bijan and Gibbs, at least one. I think Bijan team should take 2. Otherwise, we will take a third stud. You can't really go quarterback. But if you get the right 3, you can. And there goes CeeDee Lamb. Well, these guys all have one quarterback in front of me. So I think that we should see a lot of quarterbacks go. Otherwise, I'm not going to be very happy with he's got Josh Allen and James Cook. I'm not going to be very happy with my pick of, did I just see Bo Nix go off the board? Way ahead of ADP. It's actually not ahead of ADP, my bad. He went ahead of some of the other guys, though. So these guys all need their second quarterback. We can't take Drake London. We can't take any of these guys. So it's Devin Achane. It's Derrick Henry. I'm going to put Derrick Henry in there. Matt Stafford's probably not falling back to the Puka pick. Yeah. This guy should take a quarterback. I'm either getting Barkley or Derrick Henry here, so I'm fine with that. We're going to go ahead and take my favorite player to draft this year in Saquon Barkley. Super thrilled about that. Very happy. There goes Kyler Murray. There we go.
You're planting a baby monitor?
Yeah. A lot of people are bugging their babies these days. I guess babies can't be trusted.
What exactly is it you're expecting to find here?
A lot of shady shit.
Like what?
Like maybe Bruce is banging dudes.
Why would that be shady?
Maybe the dudes are babies.
What? Bruce is not banging any baby dudes. Look,
That would be shady, though. GT going. This is Superflex GT. He's going with the zero quarterback strategy, but he's going to make it up late. I have faith in GT to get a quarterback right here. Mouth will take a second one. I need you guys to start taking quarterbacks because I already have my 2. Now, I will take a third one if the price is right, but none of these guys, Shuck hasn't fallen back. These guys aren't falling back, so we have to figure it out. Well, interested to see where Josh Jacobs goes tonight, guys. Josh Jacobs, ADP 43, over under 65. I'm going to put it at 65 overall ADP. What do you guys think? There goes Darnold. Nice stack there from GT. Tyler Shuck and Baker Mayfield. There goes Pickens. We really need Mr. Can't take any of these guys. I'm going to put Drake London in the queue. I'm going to put Jeremiah Love in the queue. And this actually might be a really good spot for Brock Bowers, honestly. This is a great spot for Brock Bowers. This team can't take tight end, right? They can't go quarterback. And he goes Brock Bowers. Okay, so he's going to go 0 of the onesies. Let's take Drake London. I need flexibility here. I'm going to take Drake London. I don't want to go 2 running backs. I don't mind Jeremiah Love, but we'll take Drake London. Maybe that can open us up to taking Tua later, right? Because I need a third quarterback at some point. I'm not taking him early, so it can be possibly a Tua pick or Michael Penix or whoever. Penix falls later, so I do like Penix more. I think Penix has more fantasy upside. I think Tua would run the offense better. I also love Penix for Drake London more. I think if Penix is a quarterback, Drake London just gets the target share is unreal. It's like 29%. Malik Neighbors at 48, Trey McBride at 47. Cam Ward is already off the board. We have teams with 1 quarterback here. This team has 1 quarterback. You, dude. I don't like that. He just passed up on him again. So he's going to be rolling with some bad quarterback play. We have a couple options here. Nico Collins is on the forefront, but it's probably going to have to be T. Higgins with this build. I know it sucks to reach 10 picks. T. Higgins is not falling back to me, guys, at pick 67. I really don't think he is. So we're going to take T. Higgins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there a chance? Is there anyone I would take? I'm not taking any of those guys. Nope. We're just going to take T. Higgins, reach on him a little bit, and figure it out later. Got to have this stack. Not great to get, to take him 10 picks early, but I got pretty good value on Barkley. And we're going to make it work after this. The quarterbacks are really rough. There's Bryce Young, Mendoza, Geno Smith. That's literally it. So we know Mouth is probably going to take Geno Smith. Say that with confidence. We would put Colson Loveland in there if he falls, and then literally any of these guys are options for our squad. Buka, yeah. Montgomery, Bucky. It's getting gross. Bryce Young goes to GT. Olave with Tyler Shuck. Pretty nice pick there. And you can get yourself your Geno Smith with your next pick. And that's a nice 3 quarterback room if you want to go that way. There goes Josh Jacobs at 60. I set it at 65 over under for his ADP. He goes at 60. Aggressive pick there, but I don't hate it with all this, it's up in the air. I just don't feel like a 17 drop from his current ADP before the news is value, right? I think that's still too risky. I would be comfortable probably in the 70s because you want to play you're playing to win a lot of money here, but it's 5th round pick, a lot of talent on the board. Like, I'm not willing to risk it with Josh Jacobs. There goes Geno to the mouth. I did call that one. Tat to GT. These guys, there's some pretty good teams we have here, guys. Pretty good teams. And I have some good options in my queue. Colson Loveland, I'm going to go ahead and drop him down a little bit. Putting David Montgomery up at the top. I'm taking any of these gentlemen. Rashee Rice went, right? That would have been the play with Mahomes, but 65. So we'll just take Devonta Smith. I think T. Higgins might have made it back to me. And I could have gone Rashee Rice and T. Higgins instead of taking T. Higgins and Devonta Smith. We still only have one running back because David Montgomery went. So that was me going a little bit overzealous on a dude. Let's see. Take any of these guys. Jerry and Price, absolutely not. We don't want anything to do with that. And we still have options I absolutely love here. 2 guys. Tyler Warren, nope. All right. God, this motherfucker's got 4 running backs, dude. And his only receiver's neighbors. What are you doing? Took Judkins as his 4. Really silly stuff. Really silly stuff. And there goes Bucky. If this guy's going to take Terry McLaurin, I think. We're going to have to adjust here. And receiver room is looking quite sexy. Running back room, not so much. We're going to have to make this up here in the next couple picks for sure. Put some guys I'd like in here. There goes Tyler Warren. Can't take him. And there's some options. There's some dudes. One of the issues with taking Joe Burrow, especially in the Superflex, you can't stack him with Jamar Chase. It's impossible. And outside of T. Higgins, you know, and Chase Brown, I suppose he's a running back, but there's no stacking options, really. There's Yoshi Bosch, but they might bring someone else in. There's just not a lot of ancillary pieces where you have a guy like Josh Allen. You get Khalil Shakir at a value. You can take DJ Moore at a pretty good value. Keon Coleman goes super late. Skylar Bell, Kincaid. There's so many options. There's just not with Joe Burrow. And it's a fine, like, standalone pick, and you kind of have to get T. Higgins. Hence why I reached on him, and I shouldn't have reached on him. Now, I'm looking back. I should have taken Rashee Rice. There goes Brian Thomas off the board. And there are still some dudes here, man. Wide receivers so deep this year, and especially in Superflex. And God damn it, I'm going to have to take a total bum here. So I'm going to take Bashal Tootin if he falls. He won't fall, though, so I'm going to put in Stevenson. But after that, I don't like any of these guys. So I'm going to probably just keep on stacking. Oh, wow. Quarterbacks really have fallen here. So I'm probably going to have to take Aaron Rodgers. If he is there, why the hell not? I mean, it's pick 9. I'm at 91. Aaron Rodgers is still available. Seems like pretty good value to me. And I will take a third quarterback earlier than I wanted to. I even take Brissett. There goes Rodgers. I would even take Brissett here. I feel like that's really good. Let's take Brissett if he falls. These guys should not take a fourth quarterback. Come on. Don't take a fourth quarterback. You got Kyler, Dart, and May. Sometimes, though, people screw you by doing dumb shit. So we're going to take Brissett. I don't love it because Tootin's available way after ADP. But I'm going to make up running back later, and I'm going to take Brissett to just build a decent quarterback room, honestly. Mahomes is a risky one, I suppose, but we're still stuck with Saquon at running back, so we're going to have to make that up here. We would take Maserati Marv if he falls. That's probably the only guy I'm taking at wide receiver because I already have 4. But there are still some really good options at running back. And I'm going to rank it like this, I think. Marvin Harrison is available. We're going to smash that. And no, he is not. So we can take Michael Wilson later or just have a unstacked Brissett. No big deal to me. This has to be a running back, though. There goes Tucker Kraft. I know Mount's going to take Sam Laporta. That's pretty much locked in. I'm not going to reach on him. So it's got to be one of these running backs. I really hope it's Ramondre Stevenson. That would be the ultimate goal, is having it be Ramondre Stevenson. Tony Pollard off the board. There goes Jordan Tyson. This guy's only got 2 running backs. He will probably take one. These next 2 teams have 2 running backs. This guy still only has 1 quarterback, guys. No, he has 2. Sorry, Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson. But he's probably due to take a 3rd. And no, he takes Parker Washington. It's a wild pick. People love Parker Washington. So I'm going to hold. This guy should not take a 4th running back, right? He takes Jalen Warren, so he gives me Stevenson. This guy took 4 running backs. Like, look at this. What are you doing, bro? He literally has 2 receivers, 4 running backs, and 3 quarterbacks. Unnecessary pick there with Jalen Warren. I know it was after ADP, but you got to get some wide receivers in this team, man. Like, this guy has to. Spider. Come on, Spider. RJ Harvey. I'm sure Mouth was looking for that, but Mouth is going to take, calling it right now, guys, Mouth of the South. This is the most obvious Sam Laporta pick in the history of the world. I would be betting a lot of money here that Sam Laporta is his pick at 106. Because he probably can't wait because the guy on the turn does not have a tight end. And AJ Barner at 83. Whoa. Blake Corum. Hey. He's under contract to the Professional Fanatics League, man. AJ Barner, this is way early. Was this an auto draft, GT? AJ Barner at 83? I feel like that's, obviously it was 100 picks early. So, yes, it was very early. There goes Tua. That's a good pick. Very good value there for Tua. Sam Darnold, Bryce Young, and Tua. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. Oh, Mouth got sniped. I know you're going to take him. Right? Unless you're trying to take Kenyon Sadiq or something. Because he's trying to stack his team, but. And it's gross at running back now. It is really gross at running back. We will pop in Kenneth Gainwell. And Michael Wilson's staring at me right now in the face. And I like DK as well. Jaden Reed could be an option. And, there's still really good tight ends here that should not be there. So I'm going to pop both these guys in here. And there goes Monungai. There goes JCM. Mouth has 3 running backs. This is probably Kyle Pitts. And it's Kyle Pitts. There it is. I know why he did that, though, because he has Kyle Pitts, Laporta, and Fannin to a lesser extent in the same tier. Take the running back that probably was going to be there, and then because he wasn't going to be there because Kyle Monungai and JCM went off the board, and just take your Kyle Pitts. So Harold Fannin's still on the board, though. Which wide receiver would fall back to me? And the answer is probably neither of them. But I think I need the running back more than the wide receiver. I think I need Michael Wilson here. Because this dude's taking DK. There it is. He takes DK. So it's going to be Michael Wilson. This guy might take Gainwell, though. If he's smart, he'll take Gainwell. He does not. I like the running backs later. I'm going to just get a stack with Jacoby Brissett since I have him as my 3rd quarterback. And I'm just going to have probably only a 7 receiver team here. 136, 26. So we're going to put Kelsey in there. If he falls, I can take Kelsey. And there's not a lot at running back. There is not a lot at running back. There goes Deshaun Watson. Must be Dakota's second account. Man, this is slim pickings. J.K. Dobbins should not even be ranked that high. We're going to go ahead and take, I think we're going to take Jordan Mason. No, we're going to take Travis Kelce. This is the Mahomes team. I have to get a little share of the Chiefs offense here. And then we will pound running back late. I think that is the play, to pound running back late. And let's take a look at Mouth and GT's picks here. While we're waiting, guys in here, if you want to do me a favor, do the show a solid, do Mouth a solid, go check out Downtown Sports on every single platform available, as well as YouTube. Search Downtown Sports, where sports come home. That is Mouth. That is Beast. That is a weekly show that you're going to get a lot of NBA talk during the NBA playoffs. You get some MLB talk, even some hockey talk, but a lot of football talk once the football season gets a little closer. Come here for the football talk, at least this time of year, because you're going to get that. If you are new to the program and you want to join the community, we'd love to have you. Also want to shout out to all of the community members, the Patreon members, all the guys in the Discord, in the community. Appreciate everybody here supporting the show. And we got redrafts. We're starting to fill the redraft league, guys. So we have our Dynasty startup just started, the first of its kind for the league, that is. And we have redraft leagues starting here. Are we signing up to join, or seeing who's in what league? Access to the Discord, community fantasy leagues, like I mentioned, guest appearances on the show. We love having fans on the show. Free merchandise giveaways. I'm giving away hats, giving away shirts. Also, you get access to the early bets, the early plays. I do only player props. 96 and 58 last year, all even odds, essentially, minus 110 on most of these. 4-year sample size. So, yeah, you support me, and guess what? You're going to make money. $10 a month for the bet tier, which is a lot of other stuff besides just the bets. But I post them all with tickets and what app I'm using, whether it's DraftKings or FanDuel or Bet365, in real time. And you can just bet those along, get the same exact odds, have the same record, and make a boatload of money. If you placed $100 on every bet I made last year, you made over $3,000. I bet a little more than that. I made a little more than that. It was a really good year. Let's hope this year is just as good. We need a running back really bad. And Xavier Worthy was sniped. That sucks. But Tyron Tracy is there, and that is a perfect pick. So I had so many wide receivers, and I want a Xavier Worthy for sure, but we're just going to roll with Travis Kelce. And there's no point in taking a 6th receiver. I know the stack. I like Worthy more, but I have a lot of Worthy. I can live without Worthy. We're going to take Travis Kelce there, and I'll figure something out later. And the running back room is coming together. It is not great, guys, but the wide receiver room is pretty damn elite, and I like the quarterback room. So we're going to make tight end and running back work, and this team will be solid. It will be solid. And there are some options here. I'm just going to cue a couple guys that I think make sense. Probably won't be there. And there goes Isaiah Likely. God damn it. Plenty of guys available at wide receiver, but I am mostly focused on running back, and I need Woody Marks to fall back to me. All 3 teams ahead of me have 3 running backs, so I'm hoping they don't take Woody Marks. This is not, they shouldn't be taking Woody Marks for a 5th running back. I wouldn't think. This dude doesn't have a tight end. He should take tight end. Next team only has 4 receivers. He should probably take a receiver. I guess the worry is Spider. Spider has 4 and 4. He should also take a receiver, though, because I see early running backs for him. He has Tootin, Kyron, Warren, and Genty. See how it shakes down. Get your comments in, though, guys. I will answer questions for anybody, everybody. Answer, talk, and here we go. This is the moment of truth. If I can get Woody Marks on this team, not a make or break situation, and I can't because he got taken. So congratulations to you. That's a good pick, actually. So we're going to have to take Isaiah Pacheco. Not ideal, but works with the team a little bit. Probably going to have to be a 7 running back team is my guess. And we need a tight end as well. There's not a lot available till later that I like. Now we're pretty open. We could take pretty much every position but quarterback. We're done at quarterback. So there's some guys I like. Definitely some guys I like at wide receiver. And I could still take another running back. Yeah, we're sitting in a good spot. There goes Zach Charbonnet. Pretty good pick there. Charbonnet is all about the build, guys. If you give a team that has some steady 2 or 3 studs, Charbonnet is great because you don't need him until week 10, right? He's insurance and he's upside late in the season. If you're doing what I'm doing right now with kind of a makeshift after Saquon Barkley, I can't afford for my 4th or 5th running back to miss half the year to start the year, or even maybe more than half the year. I can't afford that. So Charbonnet doesn't make sense. It's a luxury pick, but it's a good pick. I feel like it's a pretty good pick if you have the proper team. Rob, who do you see at tight end 1 next year overall and half PPR? It's Brock Bowers. It's not really close to me. Brock Bowers is going to have a fucking crazy season. I am off Trey McBride. Last year, I was all about Trey McBride, and he was going tight end 2 and not about Bowers. This year, it was Trey McBride tight end 1, and then the draft happened, and, you know, the Raiders brought in nobody, like literally nobody. They signed Kirk Cousins. So he has 2 options at quarterback that are better than he had last year. He's going to be healthy. There's no one at wide receiver. Brock Bowers is in line for a nuclear season. I'm saying 170 targets, probably 110 catches and 8 touchdowns with like 1,200 yards is my projection if he stays healthy, which is massive. It's massive, massive stuff here. Algier's available. Spears is available. So is this guy. And I unfortunately cannot take the guy I want to take. The guy I want to take is Shaheed. I have to take Dylan Sampson here. I need to reinforce that running back room. You got to take Sampson because, you know, we all want to talk to Sampson.
I want to talk to Sampson. Climbing to the moon like that bitch Alice Cram.
We love Dylan Sampson around here. Also like Judkins. So running back room's okay now. I feel like I have enough depth to make it work outside of Saquon, and I like the wide receiver room. So it's all about tight ends now. It's all about tight ends now. I got to get one other guy with upside. There's not a lot available. I have no one to stack. I will take Hawkinson. I think I would take Schultz. Right? After that, it gets real gross real fast. This guy is still available. The guy I was going to take, Rashid Shaheed, and Tyler Algier is available. So I have a lot of dudes I love here. And I'm fine with any of these guys, honestly. I might push tight end again and take 4 tight ends. If I could take Tyler Algier here, I can be done at running back. And I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'll just figure out tight end later, right? And Travis Kelce's not great by any stretch, but let's take Tyler Algier and make this a 4 tight end team. I think that makes the most sense because I have 6. I'm fine with these 6 now. So it's a 3, 6, 8, 3. 3, 6, 7, 4 is probably ideal. I need 2 more receivers. I'm fine with just 7 receivers in this team. It's going to have to be a 4 tight end team when I waited this long and Travis Kelce at that advanced age is my starting tight end. All about build here, guys. We got to understand our weaknesses and try to get the best roster we can week in, week out. So I definitely need another receiver here in the next 2 rounds, but I have to take one of these dudes to just give me some weekly floor. One of them has to fall back to me, and I'll feel pretty good about it. I will feel pretty good about it. And I'll take late receivers. I love my receiver room. The receiver room is, I feel like I only have 5, but London, Higgins, Smith, McLaurin, and Michael Wilson, plenty good. I'm going to have to start 3 of them most weeks, but I'm going to end up having 8 or 7, and then I have a decent running back room. So I feel like the quarterback room is relatively elite as well. See how this team grades out, guys. After the show, we do draft grades, as always, with all the community members drafting in here. Give us your grades. PZ, not a lot of news on Judkins yet. I'll get to that comment in a second. We'll chat that out. We want Charbonnet or Price. Probably Charbonnet when he starts, when he gets healthy. I mean, at cost, it's Charbonnet because Price is a 5th-round pick. Like, that's insane. So when, let's say they're both healthy week 13, I want Charbonnet. I want Charbonnet for sure. There goes Njoku. Okay. Emmett Johnson. I am glad I waited. I just didn't take a running back. Okay. Man, Cade Otton is yuck, dude. I get that, Hetzer, but Cade Otton also has there's no other tight end on the roster worth a damn, right? None at all. I'm going to take Gunnar Helm, I think. Let's see. Week 9, doesn't matter there. You know what? I'm going to take Freiermuth over Helm. I like both of them pretty even. I think I have more shares of Freiermuth, so I'm just going to dive into who I've been taking. And you can make the argument the other way to take a guy you don't have a lot of shares of, but I would say I think it's hard to say Gunnar Helm has more upside than Freiermuth, but I really do think that he does. When there's, Pittman's in there that drafted Jeremy Bernard, they're going to run the fucking piss out of the ball. Gunnar Helm has more upside just perceived because it's an unknown. We know what Pat Freiermuth is, but Pat Freiermuth's fine. I think he's going to have 5 touchdowns this year. That's all I need out of him. It's going to be the very boring tight end room. I'll say that. It's a pretty lightly stacked team, unfortunately, but I don't hate doing that. It's not the worst thing in the world. And I have a pick here I want to make. Mike Gesicki would not be terrible for this team to give me another stack. We got McAuliffe in here. What's up, man? So is the pick Gesicki? Is it Gesicki? Let's take Gesicki. I got to check this out real quick because Mouth has 3 tight ends. We're going to take Gesicki. And just hope and pray. Let's see. Before I do anything here. Mouth has 3 tight ends. Probably good at tight end. He doesn't need 4. GT has 1 tight end. AJ Barner, he's definitely taking 1. I need 1 more on this team. It's not ideal, but I have a couple names I like, and there's also a bunch of good receivers. I need receivers now. I need 1 more tight end, and then I need 2 receivers to finish out this team. I'm kind of bullish on this team. So it's going to be a weird team. It's going to be hard to grade. You'll see when the build comes out. McAuliffe hasn't used Underdog in over 3 years, but I can honestly say I've played against you, Mouth South, without knowing. If it was in 3 years you haven't played against Mouth, he just started Underdog, but it definitely played against me. I've been on here since the inception of Best Ball. The last 3 years in particular, I've been doing a lot of Best Ball. I actually prefer DraftKings, though. 20-round drafts, even in non-Superflex and full PPR. I like DraftKings more, but Underdog's more popular. So a lot of these people in the community have Underdog, so I'm going to do what makes them happy. And I also have a lot more money in my DraftKings account because the DraftKings account is the same balance as your sports betting account. Where I still have a decent amount rolled over from last year. I took some out, but I'm running low. I have 120. I'll put more money in if I need to. Eventually, I will have to when I do these every fucking night. Guys, we just passed the 3-hour mark in the stream. Epic NFC North breakdown from me and Mr. Storey. Mostly Storey. I just host, but I'm kidding. That was 2.5 hours. Now we're on to drafting. So this is probably the last draft. If we do hit the goal, I will do 1 more. But I'm good either way, brothers. And then tomorrow is the return of the Chaz. The Chaz has not been on for almost a month. He just graduated from University of Kentucky, and he was traveling after his graduation. So I want to shout him out and congratulate him on his graduation and all those things. So we're going to see him back here, talk some Dynasty. I'll figure out some kind of segment to do with him. And then me and Chaz will probably end the show with the best ball draft, tag team a squad here. I know he has Underdog, so we'll probably draft. Maybe we'll draft separate teams, and he can just be on the stream talking like we do with Ray. Emmett Johnson. So my guy is still available. You know what? I'll take Ferguson or Tunges at this point. If I get Tunges, this team is this team is rocking. This is exactly the build I'm looking for. And now I got to finish with 2 wide receivers to end it. I'm going to put Malachi Fields in there. I'll put Calvin Ridley in there. We'll put Adonai Mitchell in there. Elijah Surratt. All right. Trust me, dude. Underdog has some major issues with that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's tough to get your money out of there too. There's a lot of stupid fine print bullshit where DraftKings is linked to your actual betting account. DraftKings is far superior, but Underdog is the number 1 name in the game. So I do prefer DraftKings. I'm fine with all of them. You know what? Drafters is actually really good too, McAuliffe. Drafters is mostly there's no tournaments. There are tournaments, but there's no weekly playoffs at the end of the year. It's just total points. Every league is just total. It's total points the whole time. So I do love that. Up next, 3 guys in my queue. Well, this is an easy Malachi Fields pick if he's available. we will do that. Well, McAuliffe, you're welcome to sign back up, or McAuliffe, you can draft DraftKings with us. We do DraftKings a couple days a week as well. So you're welcome to come do some DraftKings with us. McAuliffe, well, you'll know exactly what days they are, but I released those in the Discord, the times, like before, earlier in the day, what the show is. And get in the Discord, McAuliffe, and then you can get all the information, as well as, the extra perks of being the Discord, which is there's plenty. So I would love to have you in there and draft with us. You get draft grades. Beyond that, you get a lot of good stuff. So would love to have you in there. Go to the website and sign on up, and we will get you involved here. I know the season seems like it's far away, but it's actually not. I mean, next month's the last slow month, and then July is full go, like full go. You got to be prepping for all your leagues, and then August is draft time. There goes Adonai Mitchell to mouth. Calvin Ridley went ahead of him there. I'm ready for some draft grades here. I think we all have pretty good teams. I got to get GT's reasoning for that AJ Barner pick, because that was way early, and I'm curious to see if that was an auto draft. He was in his queue, and why he put AJ Barner in his queue, or maybe he just loves AJ Barner, but definitely would have been there 6 rounds later, I think, or at least 5. It was Najee Harris. I have one pick I have to make that I like making all these leagues. Is he still there? Or is he gone? Tyquan Thornton is the name. Tyquan Thornton can't miss, but the Rashee Rice stuff, if Xavier Worthy's bad, Tyquan Thornton is the dude that I have to have. And in case he goes, I will put in a couple shitty names here, because that's what we're getting here. David, I'm barely tuning in right now. Not sure if you talked about Jacobs' future, but is this the time to stock up on Marshawn Lloyd? No, Marshawn Lloyd is done. He's terrible. He can't stay healthy. They'll write that guy off, essentially. Now, I see the upside on Marshawn Lloyd for sure. I mean, Chris Brooks is really the answer. Chris Brooks is the answer, but they're bringing someone in. I've been on record saying that the Packers are bringing someone in before Josh Jacobs' whole fiasco happened. They were bringing in Trey Benson or James Conner or Najee Harris or one of these guys anyway, Nick Chubb possibly. So nothing's changed in that regard, but I would take Chris Brooks over Marshawn Lloyd. We don't know. And if you want to just go back to the beginning of the video after the stream, David, me and Storey talked about Josh Jacobs for the first 10 minutes of the show. So you get a full breakdown of not just Josh Jacobs news, but what it means for fantasy, what it means for the, who's possibly going to go there, where the value's at, what it means for the wide receivers, all that kind of stuff. What it means for the Packers also. So, yeah, if you just want to go back to it's literally the first thing we talked about, like 2 minutes to 10 minutes in. So, I get it, man. It's Russian roulette early on. There's injuries, but you know what? We're all playing with the same risk. And we were doing a lot of these drafts before buys came out, which was wild. But when you're a degenerate like we are and you love ball, I love making the content, and I can still answer questions and just see how these guys ADP. For me, it's mock draft. I essentially treat them like a mock draft. It's nice for me to see as the months transpire, right? Like where these guys ADPs move. And then I can have a better gauge of who's value, who's not when I have my big money redraft leagues. That's kind of how I look at it personally. Yeah, you'll get the notifications. I'll give a lot more time buffer when I figure out what the stream is each day. I post in the Discord. Also, just want to have you in there. And I'm a selfish, greedy bastard that wants to make all the money in the world. So, that $5 a month is going to make it. It's huge for me. It actually is huge for me because I need everyone to help try to support this small time grassroots campaign. No worries either way, brother. Let's go with GT's team first. And so he says we were talking about the AJ Barner pick. He had him queued up for the stack, but then the shit froze and auto drafted. Oh, damn, 4 auto drafts. Yeah, that's why I like the queue, but I only queue guys for 1 round. I refuse to queue that far ahead for that reason. Let's check his team. Sam Darnold, Bryce Young, Tua, Tugga. We'll just call him Tua. came together well. The Tua pick was huge for you because you got him after ADP. You needed a third quarterback, and he's going to start the year by all accounts in my mind. So, yeah, it's a solid room. It's a solid room. It's not the most sexy room in the world, but Tua thing was huge. JT, Kenneth Walker, Rico Dowdle, Kyle Monungai, Rashad White, Jonah Coleman. I do dig the running back room. I like Monungai as your 4, and Rashad White's a nice little floor play there as 5. Big fan of Kenneth Walker, so not a bad room there. JSN, Tat McMillan, Michael Pittman, Jalen Coker, Denzel Boston, Isaac Tesla, Malik Washington, and Tank Dell. This is 8 of them is fine. It's not the sexiest room in the world, but it's okay. And then we have AJ Barner, Evan Ingram, and Darnell Washington. So this team's going to grade out bad just based on the fact that AJ Barner was picked almost 100 picks, right? 90 picks ahead of ADP because the auto draft. And AJ Barner would be nice as a 3, maybe even a 2. But now having Evan Ingram and Darnell Washington. And there's also a lot of Steelers here. It's Rico Dowdle, it's Michael Pittman, and Darnell Washington. Guys, you're doing letter grades A through F. Give us your letter grades of these teams as I'm reading them off, and I'll give you mine. We'll get Mouse and GTs and Hetzers and whoever else is in here. So quarterback room's a little weak. Running back room is, I think, pretty acceptable. I don't hate the running back room. Wide receiver room is a little thin, but Tesla's an upside shot. I love Tank Dell. Not a fan of Malik Washington. And then it's going to grade out worse just because of the tight end room, and it was an accident typically. I'm going to go C- to D+, just because the AJ Barner pick. Like it's I like the pick. Just when you have you reach, not saying you reach, it was auto draft. Like in Evan Ingram and Darnell Washington, it's just it throws off the whole thing. Like who could you have got at pick 83? You could have gotten that would have been your third receiver essentially by a mile, and that would have been a pretty good receiver. That would have been Marvin Harrison or Brian Thomas or one of these higher upside young guys. So I got to go D+. I feel like if you just didn't have the AJ Barner thing and you had him in Evan Ingram spot and you took a tight end there, let's say you took Sam Laporta, AJ Barner, Evan Ingram. That makes this a C+ to a B- team because I don't hate the team. And yeah, Rodgers would have made this team better too, just based on an inherent upside with all the Steelers. So D+ is C-. Like it's gonna be hard to get a good grade, and it's not something this team's over with because AJ Barner, you need a lot from him, and the other guys just aren't great. So we have a C from Mouth. Let everyone else know what you have in there. We're gonna go on to Mouth's team though. Auto drafts are killers, man. They really are killers. Mouth has Baker Mayfield, Tyler Shuck, and Geno Smith. Really good quarterback room. You waited, and this is a pretty well-balanced room. I like this room. Christian McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard, Blake Corum, Braylon Allen, Kamani Vidal, and Najee Harris. I like the Najee Harris pick with the Josh Jacobs news. That could be a really good spot for him. This is okay. Chuba and Blake Corum make a lot of sense together. Pretty solid room. Puka, Olave, Waddle, Pearsall, Dubs, Cooper, McMillan, Mitchell, with Pitts, Sadiq, and Cade Otton. So in terms of stacks, Baker is stacked with Cade Otton and McMillan. Tyler Shuck is stacked with Olave, and is that it? Olave? And then Geno Smith is stacked with, you got Braylon Allen, you have Omar Cooper, Adonai Mitchell, and Sadiq. So this is a bet on the Jets. Big bet on the Jets here. I feel like Braylon Allen is your 4. I said the running back room isn't the greatest thing in the world. Wide receivers isn't the greatest thing in the world, but it's a well-constructed team. This is an A for the build. The build is spot on. The stacking is spot on. I'm going to give this team a solid B to a B+. I feel like nothing really blows me away about this team, but it's very good all around. This is a very well-balanced team that actually has some pretty big upside with the Jets. I know it's not the team you want to really invest in, but I am higher on the Jets than most. Not as high as you, Mouth, but it's a pretty well-constructed team, man. There's nothing. Maybe I'll go B+ actually, because I feel like I'm gonna give you a benefit on the build. Pearsall, Dubs, Cooper, McMillan. Like I like most of those guys. High-end receivers are a little lacking, and the high-end RB2 is a little lacking. So that's B to B+ is my grade. Hetcher says B. Mouth, what is your grade for your team if you're in here still? But the quarterback room, with what you worked with how you weighted at quarterback, I feel like you came out pretty well there. You could have done a lot worse when you wait and you went running back wide receiver start. Pretty nice. And I love the value you got on Kyle Pitts. And again, you actually took him one pick ahead of ADP, but Kyle Pitts, that's value because we all know Kyle Pitts and Sam Laporta, those two in particular, should be going 10 picks earlier. All right, let's go to my team here. I think I like this team, but we'll see how it looks and how it grades out. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Barkley, Stevenson, Tracy, Pacheco, Sampson, and Tyler Algier at running back. Not the greatest running back room. I'm probably only starting 2 a week. I don't see a lot of flex appeal from any of these guys outside of injuries happening. But essentially, I have Barkley as my workhorse. Stevenson is a 1A in that backfield. Tracy as pretty much a 50-50 split early on. Pacheco is a playable handcuff. Sampson, playable handcuff. Algier, maybe some touchdowns. Drake London, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin, Michael Wilson, Malachi Fields, and Tyquan Thornton. With 4 tight ends because I didn't really have any tight ends. Travis Kelce, Pat Freiermuth, Mike Gesicki, and Jake Tunges. I love Tunges. Stacking wise, we have Joe Burrow with T. Higgins and Mike Gesicki. We have Patrick Mahomes with Tyquan Thornton and Travis Kelce. And we have Jacoby Brissett with Michael Wilson. So not exactly the most stacked team, but evenly stacked. Tight end room is not great. I have some hope for Kelce, right? Last year was rough, but still had 5 touchdowns in a down year, right? I expect 5 or 6 touchdowns. I expect maybe 600-700 yards. He's a fine anchor, I guess, if you want to call him that. Freiermuth steady, Gesicki just for the stack, and Jake Tunges giving you some early season stuff there. I like the first 4 receivers. Michael Wilson's fine. And then I didn't need much else after that, I felt like. And then I like Malachi Fields early in the year. I think he's going to be on the field a lot. And Tyquan Thornton is one of my favorite players to draft now with all the news and Rashee Rice stuff with Mahomes. So this team is really a bet on Mahomes and Joe Burrow's health. I feel like if they're healthy, this quarterback room has a chance to be one of the best quarterback rooms in the league, at least in terms of this specific draft. And if Brissett, I don't even need Brissett to stay in all year, right? I need like 12 weeks of Brissett to give me some, especially early in the season. That matches really well with Mahomes. Hetra says B-. Mouth, what do you have, GT? What do you have for a grade for this squad? I think the first 4 receivers should be able to carry me. I really wish I had waited on T. Higgins to see if he came back to 67. I don't know if he could, but I would have had what I would have had instead of this would have been Rashee Rice as my 2 and T. Higgins as my 3. But I almost prefer take the stacks away. I almost prefer Devonta Smith to Rashee Rice personally. Mouse says B+. Devonta Smith as a 3 is awesome. We just need AJ Brown to get fucking traded. And actually, you know what, Mouth? We don't want that to happen because we've been taking Devonta Smith under the assumption that AJ Brown's gone way ahead of ADP this entire time. And now ahead of ADP is, I got him after in this case, but I've been taking him, 5, almost a whole round ahead of ADP. And I don't know why people are sleeping on Devonta Smith. Because I feel like if AJ Brown doesn't get traded, Devonta Smith will still return value or at least meet his ADP, right? And when he gets traded, Devonta Smith is going to be a top 12 receiver. And am I wild to say that? Because I love Devonta Smith. He's been so consistent. Just look at the targets, guys. Like the 1 year he actually had over 130 targets, 95 catches, almost 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. And now look at the targets, 112, 89, he got hurt, 113. Like 110 targets for Devonta Smith. I get it. It's because A.J. Brown's there and they run the piss out of the ball and their defense is elite. Well, their defense is a little worse. Jalen Hurts should play better this year, and he should have 130 targets again. So look what happened the last time he had 130 targets. So and maybe he won't get 136. I think he's good for 125, and the level of player he is, 125 targets for Devonta Smith is 85 catches, right? 90 catches. It's going to be 1,100 yards. It's probably going to be 7 touchdowns. Yeah, Waddle, it should be a value too, Mouth. I think my only worry about Waddle is, and you think Devonta Smith should be a guy that gets hurt more than he does because how small he is. Waddle just doesn't stay healthy, and he's just always banged up, whether that be in-game, missing a couple series or missing a couple weeks. It's always a shoulder or a hammy. Waddle's still only like 27 years old. I love both these guys. Obviously the price, Smith is a little more expensive, but give me both these guys. I'm just a little worried about Waddle's health, but the situation there, Cortland Sutton is I'm not worried about the Cortland Sutton thing. Cortland Sutton's going to have a fine year too, but Cortland Sutton's going to allow Jalen Waddle to be the move guy, right? Sean Payton will identify one of these guys in their offense. Usually it's a tight end or running back. They don't have a good enough tight end, and RJ Harvey's fine. they don't have a good enough running back or tight end to play that joker role and that like mismatch role, it's going to be Jalen Waddle. And Jalen Waddle has a 100+ catch season under his belt. He has a 1,300-yard season under his belt, I think. Let's go back and look at Jalen Waddle. You have him, right? So, yeah, he has his rookie year. So his rookie year is not on here. His rookie year was the 100-catch season, right? And then second year, 1,356 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 1,000, the 744, the 910. A lot of injury stuff there. And just the offense fell apart, right? This offense is fine. So, yeah, man, I think both these guys, Waddle and Smith, like I'm comfortable with Smith. Smith is my one. If I wait, I go running back or something. I'm comfortable with Waddle as my 2. I really am, and that's kind of where he's going in drafts. And I think that he is a unique blend of upside and floor, right? Like Waddle has the speed to take the top off. Bo Nix has been disappointing as a deep ball thrower and pretty erratic, but he can hit it, man. Bo Nix can hit it. The offense can scheme that kind of stuff up. I love all 3 levels for Jalen Waddle's game. So it's all about health for him, which I don't have any worries about Devonta Smith's health, really. He always says healthy, so. David said, Fantasy Pros, keep mouse team up here. Fantasy Pros have Walker higher ADP than Breece Hall, Henry, and Bucky. I feel like Walker isn't going to be good in KC. I think the other 3 will produce better than Walker. I don't know. I'm a huge Walker guy, and the talent's great too, but I'm a huge fan of the money. You follow the money. You follow the fact that Andy Reid wants to go back to pounding the ball. I love Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska. I really do. Early in his career, he profiles more as a passing down back, and there's nobody else there. It's DeMarcado, I think they have, as their 3. And you have Patrick Mahomes coming off injury. So Patrick Mahomes is going to run way less this year. Just in general, he was going to run way less without the injury because he was running out of necessity, right? The offensive line's a little bit, and it's definitely better. It was terrible recently. Better offensive line. You got beat up weapons there. You have Rashee Rice, who's hurt and possibly suspended. You have Xavier Worthy, who's unproven. I like Tyquan Thornton, but it's Tyquan Thornton. Travis Kelce's a fucking dinosaur. So what's the upside of Kenneth Walker in terms of the receiving game, guys? 55 to 60 catches? Or am I crazy for saying that? I think it's 55 to 60 catches. So it's Kenneth Walker as a workhorse and also has a skill set to receive. So I would put Kenneth Walker at a 70% snap share. It's not going to be the 80% of the elite guys, but it's also tied to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I like that. So, well, the CMC role, it's not going to be the CMC snap share, but the CMC role, right? It's going to be 16 carries a game, 15 to 16 carries a game, probably 5 or 6 targets. That gets you up to 19 touches a game. And Kenneth Walker is a home run hitter. So they have no talent in the backfield. So I just love like Kenneth Walker over the guys you were talking about. Derrick Henry, I love Derrick Henry. In full PPR, I want Kenneth Walker over Derrick Henry. Bucky's awful. Like we don't. Bucky's in a 3-way committee. I mean, also he's not very good. Good as a rookie, but Bucky Irving is also a 4th-round draft pick. Like Kenneth Walker is actually an elite talent, right? So, yeah, and then Breece Hall is the one that I could see going the other way, but also like, let's just say everything's equal. Do you want the starting running back on the Jets or the starting running back with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? I'm taking the Chiefs because, I mean, dude, we just saw Kareem Hunt have like almost double-digit touchdowns 2 years ago in like not even a full-time role. So, yeah, it's definitely Kenneth Walker. This is the good one. Walker over Hampton. Now we're talking because we're talking PPR, right? And if it was half PPR, I'd take Derrick Henry over Walker. Like Derrick Henry is a 1st-round pick in half PPR in my mind. I always take him as such, and it's always value. I think Derrick Henry is a fine mid-2nd round pick in PPR. I prefer late second, but mid-second's fine. Hampton is more of the mystery bag, right? I'm taking Walker over Hampton. That's just me because they brought in Keaton Mitchell. Kamani Vidal is still going to have a role. I kind of trust the Chargers offense more, but I don't know how good Hampton is a player. I think Hampton's a fine player. I know Kenneth Walker is a great player, right? I know he is. I don't know if Hampton is. So that's really close. I could see the argument to take Hampton. I would almost say if I had 10 teams, and I have a lot more than that. Let's say I had 10 teams and I had that 16th pick. That's where they're kind of going. The 4th pick in the 2nd round, 5th pick in the 2nd round, 17th pick. I would probably take Walker 7 times and Hampton 3. That's just me. If you told me you wanted Hampton 7 times over Walker, I wouldn't blame you. And also, Kenneth Walker has not had the best luck staying healthy, and that he's not stayed healthy in a part-time role, essentially, in like a 50-60% role. So, hey, you give him 80%, he probably will break. Don't fucky with Bucky is that's kind of our slogan here, right? You don't want to fucky with Bucky. No, Bucky Irving. David, you play a lot of Dynasty, right? Because Dynasty is a whole different conversation. I would want Hampton over Walker in Dynasty just based on age. Kenneth Walker's not an old man. He's 25, but Amarian Hampton's like 22. So give me Amarian Hampton with pretty good draft capital. And the guys I mentioned are more concerns for him this year. I don't see a long-term concern for Hampton, right? Jonathan, fuck with him. I see the upside of Bucky too, but I can't compare Bucky to these other guys. Yeah, for PPR, like I love Kenneth Walker, and I think Hampton. God, Mouth, what is your answer? Hampton or Kenneth Walker? Jonathan, you give me your answers because it's close for me. I'm going to take Kenneth Walker though. I'm going to go for the moon with that, and I don't think Amarian Hampton has top 5 upside, and that might sound crazy, and that I say Kenneth Walker does. I just don't think he does. I think Hampton's more of a floor play. I think Walker's more of an upside play. I want to hear the poll of how many people want in full PPR. Who do you want out of those two guys? Kenneth Walker or Amarian Hampton? Let me know what your take on that is. Are we up in Dynasty yet? No, it's still paused. I'm waiting. We're waiting. Jonathan likes Walker for upside, but for sure he is all of Casey's offense right now. And I do like, obviously we're all playing to win the championship at the end of the year, but like I am more that we'll play for early season because I have 35 leagues, right? I want to make the playoffs as many leagues as I can, and then I'll figure it out later. I'm not saying Kenneth Walker will go away when Mahomes gets healthier and Rashee Rice comes back. But early season, I feel like it's going to be a lot of Walker. They paid him for a reason. They have to protect Mahomes if he is playing. If it's Justin Fields, they're going to run the ball a million times with Kenneth Walker. So there's something about, playing for the early season in a way. And it's not like Kenneth Walker's going to go away. But you can't win the championship if you don't make the playoffs, I guess is the way I would put it. And I'm curious to see what Mouse says. Yeah, the thing is, like with Bucky, right? Say in redraft. Let's just say it's a redraft with Bucky. If regardless of what the ADP is, I am not comfortable in any way taking Bucky Irving as my RB1. I can't have it. I can't have a guy that's the workload concerns, goal line usage concerns. As an RB2, it's worth it because I feel like he'll still give me set. He's going to have the 15 touches a game. It's just what do those touches look like, right? Is it between the 20s? What's the passing involvement? Is Kenneth Gainwell eating too much into that? He could be an RB1 again. He also could be like a borderline RB3. That's why I don't like a guy that has a lot of variables and a lot of mysteries as my RB1, regardless of the ADP, because if I just waited it, it's just like I want David Montgomery over him, right? I want David Montgomery. Mouth wants Hampton. He has more of a catch profile. Here's the thing, though. Walker will get dinged up for a week or two here and there. I trust Chargers O-line. Another good point, because the Chargers O-line, like, they reinforce the middle, and they're getting Alton Slater back, and they have an elite coordinator. So that is a plus. My worry is I know what Kenneth Walker's workload is going to be. Like, relatively, I know. Would it surprise you if Amarian Hampton was 60% snap share player? If Keaton Mitchell was getting, the speed, how much McDaniel loves speed. If it was a mini three-way committee, not like what we were talking about in Tampa. If it was 60% Hampton, now this would be it would be a goal line work with the guys they have there. But if it was 60% Hampton, 23% Vidal, and 17% Keaton Mitchell, would that surprise you? We're like, there's no third guy in Kansas City. And I'm not saying I know this for a fact. I just think there's a chance. And like that's another variable where I don't see the variables with Kenneth Walker. The variable, I guess, is the upside is based on how good the Chiefs' offense will be. And I think I'm more confident in the Chargers offense. But as I'm saying that, we're also betting on Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. We're not talking about the Jets or the Giants or, the Vikings or the Falcons, right? Yeah. Hampton has really good hands, but they love Kamani Vidal, right? Especially in pass protection. And they love Keaton Mitchell's speed. I don't get the Keaton Mitchell thing. I'm not a Keaton Mitchell guy. I think I don't like smaller running backs that can't catch the ball. And Keaton Mitchell is just a home run hitter. Like, he just doesn't see the hole, bounces everything to the outside. But there's going to be a spot for him in this team. I think they brought him in for a reason. I could be wrong, but I think so. All right. Well, David, you should definitely look into hopping into the community. Everyone let him know the benefits that you should hop in, because if you play Dynasty, guys, we're talking about this shit all the time in the Discord. And play some redrafts with us, David. If you want to play, we have probably about 7 redraft leagues, and we're signing up for those now. That goes for you, Jonathan, Mouth, all you guys that are already in there. Get your spots. I put 2 leagues up now to sign up for. No, you don't have to pay or anything. They're all going to be league safe as well, so the payments will go through when we draft the teams. But you got to reserve your spot. And then after the 2 fill, I'll do 2 more, and then we'll just go down the line, and we'll do 8 of these things if we have enough people that want to do it. Yeah, Vidal is a third down back only. My worry is the Keaton Mitchell thing, and I would like to think that it should be Hampton 70%. It should be Hampton 75%, but it's just, we've seen this before, right? And Hampton also did get hurt last year. He doesn't profile as a guy that's going to have injury concerns. But I just have less questions with Kenneth Walker. I really do. The question with Kenneth Walker is, can he withstand a big workload? Because history tells you he can't. But he did in the playoffs, and I'm shooting for the moon here with the second round. I really am. And I'm a big Kenneth Walker fan. Mouse is Hampton 65. So that would leave them about the same snap share in my mind. And I hope so. I really hope so. Mouth, what is Hampton's reception upside? What is his not yards, just receptions? What are the upside for Hampton? Is it 65 receptions roughly? I don't think it's 70. That's way too high. Is it 60? I think Kenneth Walker is in that 50 to 55 range, maybe 60. But I think that he'll have more receiving yards because Kenneth Walker is just a more dynamic player than Marion Hampton. So he'll do more with his receptions than Hampton. I'll play a clip by Mouth answers this. It's we're almost approaching 4 hours in the stream. Jesus. We be pounding them. We be pounding them.
We got to definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids. Do not diddle kids. It's no good diddling kids.
There is no quicker way for people to think that you are diddling kids than by writing a song about.
Mouth thinks 50 to 60 reception upside for Marion Hampton. Jonathan, hell yeah, best community out there. Just noticed I have 13 players in 11 rounds so far. I have to start taking taxi squad type guys soon. How many rounds are left so I don't have to cut people? Just check. Go to your team, Jonathan, and you could see your team in the league, and you can see all your draft picks and how many rounds you have. And you might have acquired a couple more picks. You can only have – so the draft is including taxi squad. So it's 24 rounds. There's 21 roster spots plus taxi squad. So those are only rookies. So if you have more, you can just try to trade off a pick or, you just drop your 24th round player. It's going to be a nobody anyway. And I appreciate the words. It is the best community out there. And I love every single person in here. There's not one bad apple or bad seed, whatever the word is. There's very positive people. It's awesome. Where would you rank Kenneth Walker in PPR? Let me go to Underdog here and check. I haven't done my rankings yet. There's still a lot of stuff to check on, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He is running back 11 in Underdog, half PPR. But in PPR, I personally would have him ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would have him running back 8. That's where I have him at, running back 8. No, you were crazy for trading stuff. You just made it work. Like you would have, but imagine, Mouth, if you had a full complement of picks, you would have made it. Your team would be even better if you had full, like a middle rounds and stuff like that. Maybe not, but better draft capital. You would have had a better team. Mouth cleans up your mistakes. He's like a dog. If you puke on the living room floor, your dog's gonna lick up that puke, and Mouth's gonna lick up that puke and make that puke into a wide receiver 3. That's what he's gonna do. All right, that's it for me, guys. We almost did 4 hours tonight. I am tired. I played 36 holes of golf today. Had some drinks with Storey at the bar and had a long weekend on top of that, but hell of a stream. Tomorrow night, like I said, the return of the Chaz. We're doing the Dynasty Diner. We're going to probably draft a team or two on here as well. And then Thursday night, Mike Storey returns for the AFC North fantasy preview. That's going to be a good time. Jonathan I think there's a lot of good teams. Jonathan, your team, I really like your team a lot. There's 4 or 5 teams I don't have a lot of gripes with. I mean, like not even like really an individual pick, but there's a lot of, we're going to go through it, guys. Once the draft's over, we're going to have anyone that wants to come on, Jonathan, any of you guys that are in the league, come on while we talk about each team, and you can defend your picks. We're going to grade every team for now and for future and overall. It's going to be a hell of a show, probably a 3-hour plus show. Really looking forward to that. So as many of you guys, we got to figure out a day that works for as many people as possible. We'll get some time slots. I'll give you guys all invites, and I can, while we're doing it, I'll just tell you when to join, or you'd be in the chat. I'll let you know when to join. Just funnel everyone in there, and you'll see Mouth in that show as well. So also, guys, Downtown Sports, go check that out if you could. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Central. But check out Downtown Sports. Link is in the description, where sports come home. They're having, it'd be tomorrow, Mouth, or did you have them on tonight? You're having the Clippers announcer on. You had Noah Eagle on a couple weeks ago. I was on a couple weeks ago. You have all the big guests every single Tuesday nights, typically Mouth and Beast, Downtown Sports. 23 platforms, YouTube. Just search Downtown Sports. You'll find it, especially if you are a NBA fan, because they're covering NBA playoffs and soon to be NBA finals coming up. Also, one last thank you and shout out to the community. Appreciate you guys, as well as if you want to join, really easy, but no better time getting ready, locked in for this football season coming up. Obviously, you see there's news still always dropping in, but Josh Jacobs, crazy stuff. Discord, community fantasy leagues, guest appearance on the show. We love to have fans on the show. Free merchandise giveaways, hats and shirts, and a lot more, including the and more is including the bets, the access to the bets, 96 and 58 last year. If you sports bet, most likely most people lose. You won't lose if you make my picks, because we don't lose. You're also going to have Mouth doing his NFL game picks, Storey with his college football plays, 3 ways to win, and we're going to be winning this year. So on top of that, the fantasy, I answer everyone's question individually. DM me, DM any of the co-hosts. Mouse in there, he'll answer any of your questions. Jonathan, Dakota's on here every night. These guys are typically in the show every night. So also a great way to support the show, and we're making money on fantasy, guys. We're going to just dominate. So radio voice of the Clippers, Carlo Jimenez, is coming on tomorrow morning. So that show will probably be released tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. So look out for that. That about wraps it up for me, gentlemen. Great show. Pretty good teams we drafted. A great performance by Mr. Storey. That was awesome. Again, 10 p.m. tomorrow with the Chaz. I think that's it for me. Anything else? I'm probably going to zonk out pretty early here, but just hit me up in the Discord. I'll get back to you in the morning. And any questions you have, anything, trades, dynasty, life advice, maybe not life advice, but questions like that. So that's it. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. I'm out.
You just seem like a good dude. I thought I'd see if you wanted to grab a beer, that's all. I'm glad you called. We get home safe, Pistol.
You got it, Jobin.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Oh, what'd you say?
I don't know. You nicknamed me Pistol, and I just called you Jobin. It means nothing. I'm drunk. I'm gonna call a cab.
All right, man. You have my number, yeah?
I got you stored in my iPhone.
All right. If you need me, call, okay?
Oh, man, I'm good.